what do you think about those who say the effort should rather be on mobilizing the voters as against asking for a reform? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me just quickly respond to it. Let us not be bad students of history too. I am of the opinion that there should be a multifaceted approach to handling issues. 2027 will be tough because the ruling party, like every other ruling party, will be desperate. But the desperation cannot be more than the collective will of the millions of Nigerians. Secondly, on mobilizing people to come out en masse to vote, let us be, as I said, not bad students of history. Do we know the actual results of the Labour Party candidates in Lagos State in 2023? Apart from the ones that were announced by INEC, according to a PDP spokesperson, not a Labour Party, a PDP spokesperson, did we hear that report on the actual number of votes that came from Lagos? When you cross over to River State,
Bode George.
Yes, Bode George. Okay, thank you. God bless you. If you cross over to River State, the Labour Party candidate won Rivers with less than 200,000 votes. I think 150 something thousand votes. River State in 2015, Jonathan versus Buhari. Jonathan won Rivers with 1.4 million votes. 2019, Atiku won Rivers with 473,000. What happened in 2023? What slashed the votes? Or did the people in Rivers reduce? Then if we say people should collect voters card, according to INEC 2023, the number of people who collected voters card was about 93 million Nigerians registered to vote. Those who collected voters card were about 89 million. That is more than 90% collection. What happened to the 50 million people? Because if you total the number of persons who voted for all the presidential candidates put together, they were not up to 30 million people. So let us work to see that whatever are the loopholes, make it legally binding for you to protect the electoral process. Because if even you tell people to go and get their voters card, Nigerians do not go out to vote because they do not believe in that process. They don't believe that what we do is what you announce. And you people repeated it to show us you confirmed it in 2023. So there must be effort to rebuilding trust in that process while still sensitizing people, while still talking about coalition. Everything you see me talking about is not because I won't say that you should pick what Peter or Randy is saying as a textbook, implementation. All I am saying is that whatever it will take to protect the integrity of the process in 2027, let us do it. It must not even be what we have put as petition. It may not be but whatever other suggestions that we know that we will do. Because 2027 should be a battle between evil political class that have crippled this country and we Nigerians, the victims of injustice.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Randy. And let's move that fast to Dr. Aruna, sir. Dr. Aruna, are you there? Okay,
yes,
Mr.
I'm here.
Okay, Aruna is here. Brent, please hold on. Dr. Aruna, go ahead.
Hello, can I go ahead?
Yep, go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you, the co-host, Mr. Randy. Thank you for the work you do. I just want to make this submission. Looking at the electoral reform is a nice idea. It's a good one, and it's something we need to pursue. But the fact still remains that I think it's so nauseating that the like of Professor Mahmood, who intentionally did what he did because everything was prearranged and he deceived the masses that the 2023 election is going to be the best election ever, and we all fell for it. And he did what he did. The same person is the one pursuing electoral reform. I think his journey in futility, if that should be coming from Professor Mahmood, I don't think it's something that one can even back on. So it's just like, because the way I see Professor Mahmoud is like a physician who prescribe an opioid for a patient, and the same him, before the opioid will start working, he has given an antidote like naloxone just to counter the effect. So whatever Professor Mahmoud is going to do regarding reform concerning electoral process is more or less like having an antidote to a kind of either switch off the IRF or talk about the particular glitches. I won't be surprised. I am not here to be a prophet of doom. Whatever they want to do in 2027, they would have already mount out their strategy when it comes to the APC, the terrorist party, driven by tyrannic, sequence and all of that. So I won't be surprised that they have every electoral material printed out, and they know what to do and everything. So the only thing is, people will just go out and do what they want to do. They already have the result they want to announce. That is what I feel, because these guys, they are not going to play by the rule. The only thing we need to fight for, when it even comes to laws, we have enough laws to guide or sanitize our electoral process. But the fact is that the judiciary told us that in the history of this country, we are having a judiciary that does not know the meaning of and it is quite appalling. So what are we saying? The corruption is monumental. Every facet of of our society is so corrupt. So the only thing I feel, as Nigeria citizen, I think when we are ready, we know how to get our country back. And I remember when PO was campaigning, he said it emphatically without missing word. He said, take your country back. And you cannot take your country back. It's just like when a thief, a strong man come to your house and he want to come and take your thing. You need to devise a mean to deal with the person. And I can tell you for free, these people are going to send that they are training their talks, they are training those that will help them do the dirty job. And the only thing we can do is to start galvanizing ourselves, mobilizing and organizing, and see how we can match them energy for energy, you know, blood for blood, war for war, whatever area they want to come. I am telling you guys, especially with this 2027 election, they are going to be brutal, and we can only deal with them if we come out in our numbers. And that is the only thing I'm actually saying. We should see how we can organize ourselves against 2027. And it will be a fight that is going to be between life and death. If we don't want our children on board are young now to hold us responsible and say, Father, what did you do? Because we are asking our own fathers now that how did you people allow this country to get this back? We were told that we are the children, we are the leaders of tomorrow, and the situation is not getting better. As a matter of fact, our education is next to nothing. Healthcare, forget about it, because I'm in there. Then talking about the quality of life, people that does not ask you for anything before, they are asking because they APC government is a colossal failure. So brothers and sisters, what happened in 2015 that Jonathan was removed was not bread and butter. They were brutal, they were ready, they organized themselves, they went all out to make sure that they can assassinate Jonathan. So what we need to do now, we need to mount that pressure. I think we need to get to a level that if we should tell people, if we tell people that look, this government is a failure and you want to defend it, we can arrange and even deal with whosoever want to a kind of counter that narrative. And that is the fact. So this time around, we should be more angrier and we should all go out. 2027 is not a joke. It's just between life and death. Let's take it like that. And that is the only thing I want to say. Mr. Randy, thank you for what you do. I appreciate, but I can tell you for free, 2027, we must be ready to fight. And that is the only way to go. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aruna, and God bless. I think that was also a submission. God bless. Okay, Malam, I think you have asked your question. Fast forward to Goat. Goat, you are here. I don't know if you have any question, but please, if you want
Yeah,
to speak, let's see hands up. Oh, I'm just seeing other people's hands. Please go
my
ahead.
hand has been up for a while.
Yeah, Kenneth, I did not see your hand, honestly. So, Kenneth, okay, now go ahead. Goat is a gentleman. Go ahead,
All
please.
right,
Please, let's check time, please, because of a lot of people are still requesting.
all right.
Please, time
Thank you
conscious.
very much, and thanks to um Peter, and everyone else who has been part of organizing this. Mine is more of a comment than a question, really. And it relates to, I had initially at the start, conversations around maybe exploring the NJC, making appointments of persons to man the INEC. I'm not sure how useful that would be, because even within the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal, where the NJC appoints and disciplines, we have serious problems in there. So I'm not sure how useful that would be. In relation to solving the issues with INEC, I subscribe to the view that most times the best solution is usually the simplest one. And in that sense, I think that we should go back to first principles. INEC at its core is supposed to be an umpire, right? It's supposed to be the referee in the electoral process. It's supposed to be fair. It's supposed to be independent. It's not supposed to pick sides. Now, if we look at it from that perspective, then one begins to wonder why in our laws, but given the peculiarities of Nigeria, why INEC would benefit from the presumption of regularity. Now, under our laws, public institutions, decisions and actions of public officials or public institutions that are done in the course of duty, including, of course, conduct and results of elections, are deemed to be regular and proper if they meet, the basic or minimum requirements of the law. Now, what that means is that anybody who challenges any action of a public official, like INEC, that benefits from the presumption of regularity, that person would have to prove that that action is irregular. Now, given the criticality of INEC's role and the peculiarities of Nigeria, I am of the view that INEC should not benefit from that presumption, and that if after the conduct of an election someone is aggrieved for good cause and challenges the election, INEC should be required to prove, right, that the election was fair, free, and credible, as opposed to our current system where the petitioner has to prove that the election was regular, particularly because the documents and materials, the core evidence that the person will need to prove that the election was regular, is in the custody of INEC. I believe that if we shift that burden to INEC, INEC would now have an incentive to conduct proper elections. That's my view on the subject, and I'd like to know what Randy thinks about it. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aruna. And I think that was also still a submission. Okay. Fast forward to Mr. Ben. You've been here, but I know network dropped too. Mr. Ben, go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Please, time conscious. Please say John
I'll just
Time
take 1
conscious,
minute.
please.
I won't take more than that. Mr. Randy, good to meet you. I've been watching you a lot lately on Channels TV and the rest. Okay, a quick one. I think one key fear that the average Nigerian have as regards 2027 election is if their vote will count. If we find a way to create that assurance to the ordinary Nigerian that their vote will count, I can bet you that everybody will come out en masse to vote. I remember the election that was held in Edo State, not this past one, the one leading to Obaseki's second tenure as governor of Edo State, because he decamped from APC to PDP. And Obaseki knew that the election would be rigged against him. What Obaseki did was to set up a situation room, where he had people in every polling unit sending the result as soon as they were collated at the polling unit to the situation room. So in real time, they had the result going on, So I think if we as obedient could come together to do something like that, probably set up a situation room where we, from our polling unit agents, we are having results in real time in the situation room going on, and we are having a coalition. Even INEC, we know that we are having a real proof of the exact result of what's going to come out from the elections. I think that will also give help us to caution INEC. You know, that's just my take anyway. I don't know what every other person think about that.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ben, and God bless for that quick submission. Be Famsis.
Now, number one, let me respond to what that guy said. If you do that situation room, APC will also do their own situation room, and they'll bring their results, and there'll be commotion. So who will you believe? So the truth about it is just that in an election, it is the umpire that declares the result. So yours is just to cross check that what the umpire said is right or wrong. But my question goes like this: I was an active participant in 2023 elections, and basically, I will say something. There are a lot of reforms that we need to do with INEC. A lot of reforms. But I think if we jam pack all these things and all that to them to the National Assembly and all that, I think it will be too cumbersome. We have two critical things that marred the 2023 election. Two critical things. And when we went to court and all that, those were the things that were used to nail us. Number one, just like Randy said, under your INEC guidelines, it says that INEC will decide the way it deems fit, the way to conduct a collation of results. That is, they can do it either electronically or manually. Now, one of the greatest problems we had in 2023 election was because of the switching off of the BVAT and all that, and the IRF and all that. So I think we need to streamline. If we pursue all these reforms and all that, I think we'll be too cool. I think we need to streamline it. In one, our election results must be transmitted directly from the polling unit electronically and not manually. We should look for a way to switch to clean off that manual greeting from our NA guidelines. That is number one. Then number two, just like the other speaker said, the proof of body should be on INEC because you are the umpire. So the proof of body should be on them. And lastly, if you check, if you go to court and all that, the court will tell you for any result that must be accepted in court, it will be either the polling agent who was the one that signed the result. We should be the only one to testify. I think we should scrap that from our jurisprudence and insist that the only result that should be tenable in court was the result that is being placed on the IRF. And if that result is not there, that election is null and void. Thank you. That's all I've got to say.
Okay, thank you so much. I don't know, Randy, if you might have one or two reaction to that, sir.
Thank you very much. In fact, the questions have come in about three, so that I don't even miss. I think the last speaker just basically summed up what we need to do. See, as Nigerians, we must understand that there are many issues. If the only sectors in Nigeria that are doing well is corruption and criminality, that is where it's working. Every other thing in Nigeria is in tatters. The question is, what are the priority issues to be fixed? One particular thing that lays the foundation for you to build on others. So that is what will bring us to this electoral reform. And as the last person speaker clearly said, we had an issue. Elections were supposed to be transmitted electronically. INEC decided to do manual. The simple thing everybody should have done after 2023, go back to National Assembly. Okay, it was open. INEC could choose how to. Now make it mandatory for them. And insist with a clause that failure to transmit through this particular way that is mandated becomes a criminal offense to the umpire himself. itself. And then with that other burden of proof that was rightly spoken by, I think, Mr. Kenneth, which is outrightly correct and expedient, that the burden of proof be moved from the petitioner to the umpire, because you should be able to prove. If the burden is on the petitioner, you have the materials. You can frustrate the petitioner from being able to prove, which is what also happened in 2023. So let us not make it too voluminous or too cumbersome for ourselves. The direct implications. INEC brought a petition about their own recommendations that have almost more than 80 about what recommendations for this thing they are doing with National Assembly. Nigerians just need to be specific on what we want. Somebody talked and asked a question and said that the people are already preparing that 2027, they are already writing their results and all of that. The question is, we Nigerians, we are able to magnify what political actors are doing without asking ourselves the question, what are the other 200 million people doing? Because if we continue to hammer on what politicians are doing, APC is ready for 2027, APC is doing this, APC is the coming together of how many people? As against how many million people who are the victims of rudderless and dysfunctional leadership. So we will be the ones who will now have to organize. And if we want to organize and we say we want to take to violence, I always say that nobody has the monopoly of violence. And when it comes to state actors, they can even decide to import violence. So why not we nip it at the bud? Let us go through the electoral. Let us put the maximum civic pressure that we can put. Get the reforms that you can get, then begin to also mobilize and wait for that day. So that in that case, you have plugged every loophole and any possible scenario. Legally, you are covered. In case you decide to come with any kind of malpractices, the people are also determined to face it off. I don't know if that makes sense. So I completely align with that, the last conversation. It was simple. Electronic technology made transmission of results very, very effective. INEC has proved that it is possible. Can we go back and make it mandatory? There are also, in fact, Oga Delefaro Timi had the petition he too wanted to submit to National Assembly. His own had only 3. Mandatory electronic transmission of results, independent candidacy, so that in the case of whatever shenanigans is going on with this party infiltration by the ruling party, a candidate can decide to run independently, and also the appointment of INEC chairman. My people, any of those 2 you are able to get that properly covers and protects the integrity of the process from voting to coalition of results has done well. By the time you come back again, you can continue to build on it. It is an opportunity. Nation building is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Let's take what we can do that guarantees our help now, and then moving forward, we continue with every other reform. I think it will be in our best interest. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Powerful
sorry,
submission.
please. I just wanted to add one more thing again. The collation,
Okay.
the accreditation of voters on the beavers should be only on fingerprint and not on facials, because that facials is a scam.
Thank you so much. I also believe that Randy has also um taken note of that also. Okay, fast forward to Good, please. Good, go ahead. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, King Savior. I greet you, Peter B. Grassroots and Randy Peter. Like, I see what you're doing, and I'll just have to encourage you and say to Nigerians not to actually give up hope. So, I'll make some kind of submission. I'll just make a quick submission because Randy say, okay, what should we be looking at moving into 2027? So, for me, firstly, I would say that 176,000 polling units, we actually as a country, we need to have a conversation, because I don't believe INEC has the powers to be able to monitor 176,000 polling units to ensure that the election is free, fair and credible. So why I say this is because South Africa has about 23,000, and South Africa was able to pull in about over 60 million votes. America has 95,000 polling units, and America was able to pull in 156 million votes. So it's not about the number of polling units, it's about the process. So the more polling units you have, where you have less oversights, then you get electoral fraud. So we need to put that into perspective, that we have almost double of what America has. And what, how many votes did we do? 23.3. And we only outpaced South Africa by 6 million. South Africa was doing just 23,000. So that tells you fundamentally something is wrong. So the second point I was going to also say as well, from the 2023 elections, I waited patiently and I studied how South Africa actually did theirs. And I think we need to go back and look at how South Africa actually does their election and learn from it. We might not necessarily need electoral reform. Where we should be putting pressure on is INEC guideline. Because where we go back and then say, well, INEC should transmit the result based on how they said, okay, what exactly is your guideline? Are you saying you should electronically transmit? You need to let us know, because it is a contract. It's like a referee in the game. You let us know this is the state of play. Is electronic transmission, and we know this is how we should play moving into the election. Now, how does South Africa actually do it? Very, very interesting. I studied their process. So South Africa, as we have INEC, they have Independent Electoral Commission, IEC. So once they finish the election and the ballots, the votes are counted, physically, the results are now transmitted electronically to the municipal and provincial result centers. So more like the regional hubs. Because good governance is local. Election should also be local. Because once you're electing the presidents, you are also you're also electing your House of Rep members. Let each region, you know, hold INEC accountable to that process. This is how South Africa does it. So when it goes to the regional, what they now do is now time to verify the votes. Accreditation data is key. From the last elections, they put up the accreditation data on IREV and they took that off. Because that's the only way you can tell how many people came on that day to vote. You have no right taking away that figure. Because you saw from Edo State that INEC was manipulating votes from the back end. And I'm shocked. Nobody's even raising any alarm after that actually was made public. So once you make it local at each regional, what South Africa does, it's each party representative is there at the local level. The media is allowed into those local not collation, it's just to verify the results. The media is allowed in. Election observers is allowed in. The Yoruba man Southwest, they are protecting their votes. LP is there and they are speaking to each other and saying, how many did we get in the polling units? Okay, we are happy. That is at the local level, at the regional level. Now, once they are happy that the results they have at the polling units is what they've received at the regional level, now they now transmit that results to the national level. So it's called NROC or ROC. So now this is at the national level. And now at that national level, they still have the same replication of what they have at the regional level, at the national level. So political party representatives are there, election observers are there, the media is also there. So they are speaking to each other and they start feeding that results in. So once that result starts feeding into the national level, they now start electronically calculating or tabulating those results. So unless they agree, each figure coming from each polling unit, they have to agree. They'll feed it into the system. As they are feeding it into the system, there is a screen at the municipal level to show people in each region what is going on. They are feeding the results. So even South Africa had a glitch as well, in which the screen turned off for about 9 minutes. But the system, the process could not be compromised because they have party representative, election observers, and the media in their coalition center. They have a smartphone app and a desktop app. So there was like, everybody relax. The results will feed in. So, you see what I'm saying? Electronically, in 2025 or 2023, you have no reason to be calculating votes with pen and paper. It should be an electronic process where you allow everybody into those centers to be able to validate those votes that are coming in. So if we can get this right, it is easily done based on INEC guidelines. INEC can open their doors to election observers, party faithfuls, and the media to see how this coalition is being done. They are looking at the accreditation data, they are speaking to people at the regional level. This can all be done based on INEC guideline. Now, the second crucial part that we should be speaking about is aside INEC, we should be looking at the contractors of INEC. It is a flawed system. From the 2023 elections, so the company who does the BVAS and the PVC, I think they are called Activate Technology. The former director of Activate Technology was actually part of Tinubu's PCC. Was actually part of Tinubu PCC team. I think his role was director of special duties. That should have never been allowed to happen. One of the current director of Activate Technology, I have some of his tweets wishing Tinubu good luck in the upcoming election. That should have never been allowed to happen. So you can clearly see that the company that is in charge of the hardware for the election is compromised. Should we go to Njenje that does the software that we use for our elections? Njenje and Activate Technology are actually in the same building. That should have never been allowed to happen. You can't have the hardware and the software company speaking to each other. In the last time I checked, actually in 2024, I was looking at their address based on CAC. They are still located in the same building. So if you want to manipulate the results, they can do it because both hardware and software are in the same building. So when you heard they caught some people with was it Beaver's machine, how they were able to wiggle around that issue was because they were in the same building, which should have never been allowed to happen. So we should tackle that. So also going into the ballots paper contracts, what is her name? Is it Nadia or not Nadia? I don't want to call. Is this? I think she's a party faithful of APC. That should have never, in a serious country, we are not serious as a country. No APC faithful should be having anything to do with our electoral process. So, you see, these are simple things that we can tackle. And I hope, Randy, that you can include this in your petition or, that's, call for transparency coming into 2027. And these are little and very easy issues that we can address. And we need Nigerians to come out because if INEC is not willing to do it, we need to force them to do it. So unless we are out there en masse in our numbers, showing them that we are ready. So all these show of force we are saying on election day, you don't have to wait till election day. You need to show that you are willing and able to say go against that process and this is what you are going to get. So unless INEC can see that anger in you, there is no way they will reform the process. So thank you very much, Prince, Peter, and Randy for giving me the opportunity to speak for such a while. I'll yield at this point. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Good. Randy, please, you have the mic, sir. I know you might have one or
In
two.
fact, fantastic. Thank you. I think this is just a total submission too of everything we are saying. Look, everything you just highlighted now are basically electoral reform. Amending the INEC guidelines, which gets its own power from the Constitution, is part of electoral reform. Scrutinizing the process of awarding of contracts for INEC and the electoral process are part of what can be raised in the INEC guidelines and in the Electoral Act. Now, it is a good thing that a person understands how a system should run like this. So basically, this is what we are doing with the petition that I joined other people we went to submit. It is calling attention of Nigerians for all of us to come together like this. By the time there is massive pressure on National Assembly and they begin this process, and they say, okay, they need people, we want to set up steering committees and working committees or working group for us to do this. A person like this who knows and understands what and what should be done can now become a part of that. But as long as you know it, and there is nothing that you have to input into the system and the conversation, INEC and National Assembly will do whatever thing that they can do, come up with an act that they want to come up with and conduct 2027. So that is why what we are talking here, it is so less about me. I've told you that even the petition we took is not alone. Dr. Tanko Yunusa has a petition there. Other NGOs have petitions there. The important thing is that nobody is putting pressure on us. Once Nigerians mobilize themselves and put pressure there, they do not have a choice. They will form, they can bring constitutional lawyers. We have intelligent people in. This is somebody just stating clearly how South Africa process works, how it is decentralized. Look at 2023. Every Nigerian is praising the professor in Abia State. Under normal circumstance, why was one professor needing to be announcing results when you say there was electronic transmission of results? Why did we have people coming to read Obiakpo local government 2000? It then means there was a problem with that system. If it needed one person to begin to defend it. So where other one persons refuse to defend it, we are in crisis. So it all still boils down to that electoral reform. And that electoral reform does not even hinge on the petition we took there. It is on what all Nigerians decide to mobilize there. Once they open the space, people like yourself, people, intelligent Nigerians who are on this social media will be there to make their inputs. And we will see that this thing can be done. It is always impossible until it is done. Thank you very much. Please, host, I don't know, am I allowed to go so that other speakers can also go ahead, sir? Thank you.
Yeah. No, you still be on the space. I think some other person have one or two questions or suggestions for you. Thank you. Randy, hope you copy that, sir. Thank you. Okay, so let me quickly fast forward to Emeka has been here for, Rakim. Rakim have been here for a long time. I know he has so much a lot to say. Rakim,
Hello, can you hear me,
good
guys?
evening. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My
Please, 2 minutes.
question,
2 minutes, please.
yeah,
Two
my
minutes,
question is
sir.
actually my question is just short and simple. Um, I think speaking of judicial reforms, because since I've been following, I think quite a couple of people have mentioned judicial reforms. With respect to our elections and everything. So, in light of judicial reforms, right? I don't know, like, is there any possibility, right, that we can go back to chase some of the cases that was brought forward in the election petition last year? For example, there's one particular one that really struck me, and I'm thinking like if we can bring it back up and pursue it, we won't even be talking about Tinubu in 2027, which is the issue of his qualification to run for the election. In terms of all the saga concerning his certificates, his the drug thing, all those stuff. Like, is there any possibility for the people who have the legal understanding of these things? Is there any possibility we can chase those cases to ensure that he doesn't even get a chance to run to start with? Because that man should never be on any political should not pursue any political candidacy or position in any country in this world. So I'm just asking those guys that are abreast with these issues, like, is there a way, some of those issues that they were telling us were pre-election matters. So can we now go back, right, in furtherance of the election to pursue these cases? Like, can we like, for example, I know the CIA thing with David Dain is also on the pipeline. I know there are some other issues surrounding the certificates from Chicago and stuff. So can we ensure that this guy is not allowed to run in the first place, so that we won't even be talking about somebody wants to rig or this? Like, let's cripple this guy before that election. Like, is it really possible, with respect to judicial reforms? I don't know if anybody can really like provide me with an answer, because I'm not really too keen with judicial reforms. And on the issue of elections, I still think what happened or what transpired in 2023, right, had more to do with human malfeasance, or like you can just call it like complicity between judiciary, INEC, like everybody that was like involved in that evil. They were just complicit in that evil. So I don't really feel like he had anything to do with the electoral documents or some pieces of documents, that were meant to protect our electoral integrity. I feel like it was more of like human errors or human, let's just say wickedness anyway. So I would suggest that we just, I don't know, organize as a people to try and, stand up for ourselves, regardless of whatever reforms that we push. Because I can tell you for a fact that if a corrupt judge want to rule against you, even if you bring Jesus to court as evidence, they rule against you. There's nothing you will do. There's really nothing you will do. So let's stop talking about even the high neck, the electoral hard that we're talking about. I'll tell you for a fact that the Labour Party lawyers, they were even able to like argue up to a point that INEC had no right to rescind their decision on like RF and stuff like that, with respect to their own electoral guidelines. Because if you remember, there was even a punishment for anybody, any INEC official that failed to um transmit results. That was how much like this election transmission of results was sacrosanct. It was sacrosanct to the point that you'll be punished if you fail to do it. So there's so many, like, even when people say, oh, INEC left a loophole and this and that, it's not really like a loophole. Because if the judiciary wanted to really step in to protect, that election, there were other petitions. There was the issue of, there were like 9 petitions, separate petitions against APC and Tinubu. Shetima was there. You saw what they said about Shetima, the
Please
governor
kindly help
nomination
to
team.
round up, sir.
Yeah, I'm rounding up. And so many other cases like the perjury, double citizenship, stuff like so. I think that's just in addition to my question on like judicial reforms. Like, can we see in light of judicial reforms, can we see if we can like pursue these matters so that like these guys don't even run in the first place?
Yep,
Thanks.
thank you so much. Like Randy have said, citizens' involvement. But Randy, I don't know if you have one or two to add to that. Probably other speakers might also contribute.
No, nothing much to add because I think a similar question had been asked earlier.
Yeah.
Judiciary are an unelected arm of government. If you want to, have any sanitization, you have to. The people who will still elect the next one will be the current executive. They will elect, it will be confirmed by the current Senate. And when you say, and when we talk, of course, it is true. I accept to the extent that even good laws are not self implementing. You can have good laws and a bad judiciary, and it still goes into futility. But the loopholes that will be used by both judiciary and INEC will be created by the law that is on ground. So if you want to have a multifaceted approach, look at the law that is on ground. Is there anywhere that was, weaponized or loophole that was used? If yes, close it. Then begin to mobilize also. The same pressure that will be put on National Assembly can also be put on the judiciary. The judiciary are Nigerians. They are human beings. And as long as nobody is holding them or putting fire to their feet, they can decide to continue doing the bidding of the persons of statesmen instead of interpreting laws for the state. But when the totality of members of the state decide to wake up and also put pressure on the judiciary, before you get into their reform, they will be ready to do the right thing. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry. The question that I really wanted you to answer is that can we, because I don't know how to say, like, let me just give a preamble. They said that Tinubu could not be disqualified for his certificate because it was a pre-election matter. So, like, going into 2027, right, before the election, so that they will not come and tell us after in the aftermath of the election that it was a pre-election matter. Can we chase these cases to ensure that this guy does not even really stand a chance of running? That's like what I'm asking. Like, to like the lawyers in the house, the people who really are abreast with these things. Like, is there a possibility of doing it?
The,
That's
the,
what I'm
the
saying.
simple question is to chase it in which court? With which Supreme Court?
in
You
in in the, in the Nigerian court, like, is it possible? Is it like really possible?
That is what I'm saying. That your answer, your question, your guess is as good as mine. You want to take it to Justice Kudirat Kekereekun in the Supreme Court. Well, if we think that you can work, you can try. And then again, unfortunately, whatever that are the issues, he has been sworn in as a president. So if he was qualified to be president once, so what part are you now litigating? So are you sure that you are not just distracting yourself? And the time you'll be using to trying to disqualify him, would you also use that time to get ready for the 2027 election, so that before you go there, you begin to drag yourself and they give you, okay, we are joined to this, adjourned to this, and then it is, because it does not have a timeline, and before you know, maybe it is concluded after he's swearing in 2027, God forbid. So whatever that you're doing, we just need to pick our battles, focus on the time constraint we have and what we can get to guarantee 2027. I think that will help us better. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you. So, in fact, there's no other perfect answer more than that, and it's very true. So we should not be distracted. Quickly fast forward to Mr. Emeka. Please, 1 minute for question, please, so that we should be able to exhaust um other requests and speakers, please. Thank you, Emeka, sir.
Thank you very much, the host. Thank you very much, Randy. I've been following your conversations, and I must say, they are far much more detailed, and very. It had a very good impression on me. So straightforward. What I just want to say is this. Okay, we had electoral reform in 2022, prior to 2023 elections, and we are all, are happy about it. We are all in celebratory mode. Okay, this will help curb this and that. Yes, you have addressed some parts of those questions I'm about to ask, but after the whole thing, we still found out that we still like made 2 steps forward and 10 steps backward. Now, secondly, you talked about, so what are we going to do? Like, what is this our reform doing differently that cannot be sabotaged by INEC, by the various loopholes that are there, even in the very Electoral Act itself? Two, you talked about the opposition and all, and truly, the kind of politics we know our president to play, even the opposition, he always has them in his pockets. Go to Lagos, go and see his templates. David Hundiyin was saying something in one of his interviews, and I believe most of us have heard it. He said the kind of politics he plays is that he finds a way to put himself in whatever structure that is being put out, because he has this avalanche of funds, of course, public funds, but pardon me. So there is a lot of limitless resources that he has. So the opposition cannot really do anything. But have you liaised with the person of Mr. Peter Obi or any of his team members? Because if we look at the way Bola Ahmed Tinubu played opposition, when he played opposition, he invested his time, his resources. He pioneered what we know today as opposition politics in Nigeria. So he played his part very well. Is there not a way this very opposition, I'm not talking about, there are those in already in not Congress, right? There are already those that are in the House of Assembly, National Assembly, sorry. So what is the current opposition now? I'm talking of in the person of Peter Obi and his team. What are they going to do to rally Nigerians? Because Nigerians are ready. Everybody is suffering, but they are just waiting for who will make that action, who will put in that effort, who will put in that resources. Mr. Peter Obi spent over 800 million naira of his personal funds in the judicial process. If that money was actually put in to protest and demanding good governance, I'm not talking about mobilizing people, just putting structures in place to ensure that our protest, everything is not being infiltrated. People talks are not going to attack us. It would have yielded more results than the amount of money we spent in the judicial process. So those are my 2 questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry, in fact, I almost missed the first question about mobilization. Was that it, sir?
No, not at all. The first question was, even 2022, we had electoral reforms, and
Yes.
still it didn't change anything.
Mm.
What happened still happened. How
Okay.
are we sure that this time around, the reforms we are putting in place, that it cannot be circumvented by any other process, or the INEC chairman, or every other loophole that are even in the Electoral Act itself, or even in the reform itself? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think part of the words I want to use, I think it was the American abolitionist Harriet Tubman that put that powerful one of those is it poems I will say or quotes. She said that you have to keep going. That when you see the torches in the woods, keep going. When they are shouting at you, keep going. When you hear the dogs barking, keep going. Because for you to taste freedom, you have to keep going. If you had the electoral reform in 2022, and I'm almost sounding like a broken record, and for some reason, there was something there that wasn't covered that you did not realize. When you realize that it was bad, what is your option? Become lethargic, become docile, sit back and allow that the criminality that was done is built upon. You must go back and fix it. Nation building cannot be a one-time try. Nigerians must know that you have struggled for 60 years. Since independence for 60 something years, you have been trying to get one thing. In fact, elections have been since maybe after the 1993 June 12th, then to 1999. The question is, if you failed to achieve it and you give up at this point, then the rest of the other 60 years is a waste. So we must go back and say, oh, we had electoral reform. What did we not do right? What did we do? What could we have done better? We will do that. So it is a continuous process. In fact, even if you have electoral reform this year, does not mean you may not need electoral reform for 2031. So it is something you will build on. Just learn the lessons and implement where you can. Secondly, on the issue of opposition and what to do, look, there is a lot of, I don't speak for the Labour Party presidential candidate. I've never met him. I don't work in any capacity. I'm just a citizen of Nigeria. There are a lot of things that come to play. Part of the reason why opposition was also very successful in 2015 was because there was a coming together as one, presenting one person against Goodluck Jonathan. Part of the reason why we are seeing they talk about coalition is because now they have tried in 2023 and they seem it like it didn't work. The truth of the matter is, if the INEC was working independently and was working with integrity, there was a winner in 2023, which INEC knows, the person in the villa knows, and every other person that wants to know knows. So if we do have our political actors who may be doing this, may be doing that, Atiku Abubakar is there. There are other factors we must understand. Can we as the people decide to become the change that we want to see? Peter Obi is one person in Nigeria who has even said that I am running to see Nigeria work. My coalition is a coalition against hunger, against insecurity, and against ABCD. And can Nigerians come together? Look, if Obi does not become president, Peter Obi is a fulfilled person, both as a private individual and as a politician. If even he joins the APC today, believe me, he will be a ranking member there. The real victims of Nigeria are the ordinary people. So if we see that for some reason, some actors may not be able to act in the way and manner that we expect them to do, can we also take the mantle up to become the change agents and believing in the capacity of these persons, let them leverage on what we can build? That is why I am saying that we should go ahead with what we can do. Let Nigerians be the opposition. Today in Nigeria, the real opposition are supposed to be you and I. If tomorrow there is something like what is it called, stray bullet or wanting or hunger, it is you and I who are feeling the impact. So let us come together and see how we can help. The loopholes that are in the electoral law, protect them or cover them. The mobilization that we need to do, let us do it. We believe in the capacity of this so and so person. We can build a system that they can become beneficiaries of and use. After all, they are getting there becomes a means to an end for us too. I don't know if that makes sense to us because there is just so much around the opposition sphere and the kind of desperation that may come from some other actors in some other political class. So we must know that for us, 2027, we must not permit the criminality that took place in 2023 to be built upon. It will just have grave consequences. The persons in power today are not usual politicians. They have a track record, they have a template. Nigerians must not sleep on it because after 2027, we can foreclose anything as Nigeria as a democracy. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Randy. I don't worry. I think let me reserve my comments. Liche, whether Liche one or Iche one. Liche, sorry if I hope that. Wait, I'm coming. Kelechi, Kelechi 117, the man with the military president. Okay, I think he's not here. Van Beek.
Hi, good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir.
Uh, Hi.
Please, 1 minute
Um,
for questions, sir, please, so we can accommodate. Thank you.
I'll be very quick. So, Peter, good evening.
You are not
First of
audible,
all,
sir. Please, you don't know if you can bring up your voice.
okay, Peter, first of all, I still think you still have to do more videos and explain more about the electoral reform because so many people still do not understand because some of their questions are just out of point about electoral reform. So I still think you still have to do more. Then, secondly, I've also heard so many people saying that it's obedience that is demanding for the electoral reform. It's not just obedience. This is all Nigeria. It affects everybody. So let us not say it's obedience. This is something that is affecting the whole of Nigeria. So it is Nigeria that is demanding for accountability from our National Assembly. So that is it. So to my quick question, Randy, today is 27. You've already submitted all the petitions you want to submit to the National Assembly. When are you supposed to be there? Are you supposed to be there tomorrow on the 28th, or are you supposed to be there on the 30th? When exactly are you supposed to be there? That's number one. Then number two, there's a Labour Party member who comes out and say we just talk too much, which is true. Most of us just come talk, talk, talk. We don't want to come out and do the work. For us to be able to make sure that this thing work, we need people on the street who's going to go to the National Assembly and protest. You peaceful protest. Come out, let us go and demand for this accountability. Yeah. So my question to everyone here, how many people is ready to come out? How many? We don't need 1 million people. We only need 150 people. I'll give you, for example, here in Europe, 3 people can go out and demonstrate, asking for accountability from the government. You see them gumming their hands on the street, demanding for change from the government. And when the government see this, they do it. In Nigeria, it's kind of different, uh, but we don't need 1 million people. We just need 50 people. So my question to everyone in this space right now, how many persons here are ready to come out on that day when we say, okay, we are ready to go to the National Assembly? How many people here will say they will beat the chest because somebody has come out and also say beat your chest or issue? How many of us here now, saying here now, talking, just complaining, how many of us here are going to come out on that day and say, let us go to the National Assembly and demand for accountability? So that's my second question. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, sir. Okay, Randy.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Let me quickly, because the second question was to everyone. The first question was when we are to go there. Today is the 19th. We submitted that petition on the 7th, on the 9th of May. The 30th will be the 6th of June. We were supposed to visit the National Assembly on the 15th. I explained during the start of the session. But 15th was last week, Friday. It's not a day of plenary at the National Assembly. So we had to move it to tomorrow. So tomorrow is the 20th day, and we are meeting at the Unity Fountain by 9 a.m. From there, we have our electoral reform rally. From there, we proceed to the National Assembly. We have taken letters we dropped one at the Office of the Inspector General of Police and one at the DSS headquarters. Okay, we went to the headquarters and they told us that we should go and drop it at the the Abuja Municipal Office, which is the one at Asokoro. So we dropped that one there. We did not meet time, so we could not drop for road safety. I'm hoping that early tomorrow morning we can do that. So that is where we are. We are going tomorrow. The other question about people who will come out, I cannot preempt people, and what I can do is I can only do so much because everybody is a human being. There are people in other languages who need to even hear what we are saying about electoral reform. We are working with people on how to, interpret in different languages too, at least in the major tribes, and let people understand. But the truth of the matter is, it is up to Nigerians. For me personally, this is a decision I have made that I will not wake up on the morning after elections in 2027 and realize that there was something I could have done that I did not do. Let me put all my cards and do everything I can do. If I fail, let me fail on the fact that I did my best. Let history know that I tried and we tried to stop this calamity from continuing. But if we succeed, it will be on all of us. And it is my hope and prayer that Nigerians will know that there is no help that is coming from anywhere. Forget all this international, that the posturing of international community is always forced on national interest. If a Western country is telling you about human rights, it is for as long as it has not affected their national interest. Once something they call human rights begin to affect, I mean, we have been talking about Chicago and all of that, being an FBI asset and all of that and all of that. What have we gotten from the country? There are people who have the leverage to do certain things. We have been talking about Nigerians being targeted since 2015. So there is just so much for us to learn that we are the only help that we have. And every day we waste, more lives are being lost to this insanity. People are being slaughtered in Benue Plateau in the most heinous of manners. If this does not motivate Nigerians, if our collective sufferings cannot motivate us, I don't know what else will. But I will do my part, and I'm hoping that Nigerians too, we will do our part. Not everybody may see reason initially, but I believe that eventually a lot of people will come to terms with it. We just need to work with the time frame that we have and achieve all that we can achieve. Thank you, sir. I yield.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Randy. I mean, I don't know if someone get one statement there. You have to start thinking that way. Um, quickly, let me please. Will come. Everybody will speak. Oh, please, Ejo. Um, Ewoma, my guy, please. I know you've been here.
I've been here
Not.
since, so please.
I know when I approve you. Please, Ewoma, please 1 minute, sir.
Okay. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank God. Man, Randy, man, thanks so much for what you're doing, man. Like stepping up, like it's you stepped up. You are really, really stepping up. We all should take a cue from you. Omo, Randy, I did Lagos so. And like the other speaker been talk, say how many of us they willing to come out. If not Lagos guy, trust me. I for come out, even mobilize people to come out, buy, get placard, get shirts, get some refreshments, make with the amount go there because we know the way Nigeria they be right now. And these things they important to the mobilize people, they go front. You understand? If you look back at our NSAS, there are some things like that happen. Nobody say one go they say one day jolly, no, but just to inspire that turnout out. Now, Randy, my question now, say, Omo, you don't already point out the matter. Like, no, now electronic transmission go do is like a great silver bullet. I'm saying this as someone that supervised 5 polling units. How we fit, I'm putting a question to the house now for all of us, they Abuja, how we fit ginger mobilize people like me now as I did ready to come out money from my pocket, make person carry placard and white shirts, go that assembly like 2 people from my own pocket. Oh, I mean, I don't even hold bar like that. I know say many men for this place hold bar like that. You understand? So how we fit, because see, my brother, we don't need 100 people, we don't need 200 people, we need thousands of people there. It's gonna be 100 people. 100 people, police gonna just go press everybody neck. We need thousands of people there. And it's not just about renting cars, it's about even educating the crowd that is even there safe on what we they do. You understand? So, Randy, the real politic, I know say some people give you bad organization, no wahala, no wahala. How do we get people where we say we know they are Abuja, make we fit mobilize ginger people from where we did. So you go, so the force will go there NAS, they go no say no be choice, because that scene alone of, like you said, between 5 to 10,000 people there, that one on your own, TV don't pick am, radio don't pick am. People don't ginger, they see wetin they go. Okay, why people they even gather? They say they want make the election they free and fair, or say if they vote for here, they must transfer and go straight, say they show am for screen. Now they protest like that. So that my question be now. You don't already cross all the bridges. Now, how we go take mobilize people for that Abuja from everywhere, whether it be say shirt, placard, which you or the march they go, make hold government for truth. Because like you said, if you must hold government for truth, we can't just allow them say Nigerian government. No. We must hold them for truth. So how we could take the question to the everybody on the house of Prince, how we go fit take realistically, real politically, not the abstract something, mobilize thousands of people with our resources to join for this march. No be shy, snap. Mobilize. Say tomorrow now, if tomorrow now the testing mic, no wahala, then the main day, make we dey prepare, make we dey ginger, make we dey get video where they educate people. We say, once we reach there, or if not dey there, your bar don't work for you. If you say person like Prince now, we also kind bar go not already organize on 20 people with a march. They use your phone, your WhatsApp, they monitor some more, they're on point. So that's not my own. How do we collectively come together, bring our resources together to make sure, say, in that Abuja, we mobilize thousands of people to go hold National Assembly for truth. Not be saying an abstract talk we do it. No, and we don't pass that stage. Money and resources got to the talk now to mobilize Nigerians. You understand? Us with the small one we will get out for our pocket, we will bring them
Thank
together.
you, Roma.
Ginger Nigerians, we dey go there for next for
Roma,
there.
Lagos spirit.
Understand? Thank you.
That is the Lagos spirit. I understand your point. That's the Lagos spirit. So I think Randy might want to say one or two to that, but for me, I even on that bus we go carry. Whether na down for bus, we go carry reach Abuja. When that time reach, myself you go see me. If you don't see me for Abuja, I no go there space again. They talk. So thank you, Randy. Let's hear from Randy.
Thank you, Prince. You don't talk and finish. I don't stay in Abuja, but I dey Abuja since the morning now. Because, see, when it comes to the issue of Nigeria, when I say if now 1 a.m. for night, wake me, I get interest because I am a direct victim. I may not know how to mobilize. Maybe my platform no big. The important thing is how many people they talk about them. How many of us fit create the necessary, for as long as I started this, I've been trying my best to stay apolitical. No be say tomorrow they go say, but it doesn't matter. Anybody that wants to call it any party coloration should call it. The demand is free and fair election. Is there a party that hates free and fair election? So if you say now obedient on a Labour Party, then you should even give them credit for trying to entrench the democracy that we claim to be practicing. So at this point, it is not whether somebody will come out and say, oh, it is obedient people, because may have gone past all of those kind of shenanigans. The important thing is that Nigerians in their numbers are coming out to say they demand something. And if the president, if it is not hypocrisy, is there anybody who is there who does not claim to support democracy? The hallmark of every democracy is free, fair, credible, and peaceful election. You cannot call it a democracy when people cannot choose their leaders, unless it is something else. So if you have not fixed that process of electing leaders and you are saying you are doing a democracy, you are putting the cart before the horse. So that is why Nigeria is struggling. People continue to struggle. You come, you are a calamity. You can reward yourself with another 4 years. You can install a puppet as the leader. We must end that circle of irregularities and unfortunate leadership. So when it comes to mobilization, for as long as we get people who are using their platforms to talk and everything, after tomorrow, we must talk about occupying NAS, whether after the 6th of June, after the 30 days, because of the time frame that we have. Anybody that can do anything, me, as long as, because some people are even asking, once it get to the point, it will need to be taken to the 36 state houses of assembly for ratification. Once it reach the point where people at the state level will also mount at the state houses of assembly, it will be engaged to that point. But the epicenter will be here at the National Assembly. And anytime it happens, I am ready, whether not to borrow money for Pampi, to make myself available there, we go mount there. Because Nigeria will be good in my lifetime. That is my determination.
Thank you so much, Randy. Randy, bless you. Don't live for Lagos before, but let me not go there. Okay. Who is next? Blink. No, Anwata. Nwata. Adebayo, Ejo, I'm coming to you, Ejo. Nwata.
Okay. Good evening, Prince. Good evening, Randy, and good evening, everybody on the space. Can you
Loud
hear
and
me?
clear, sir.
Okay. I will try and be as brief as
Please, 1 minute. We
possible.
have a whole lot of requests, please.
Um,
Since this question, or if it's submission,
I didn't
one
hear
or two
you.
minutes, sir, please.
What did you say? Okay, please. I'll try. Now, I'm one of the people that believe that Nigerians are not yet ready for Nigerian to change. Now, somebody came to the space and is telling Randy Peters, who is already doing to the best of his ability, to hit his chest and tell him that Tinubu is going to sign the electoral reform bill. Whatever Randy is doing, he's not doing it for himself. Whatever P2B is doing, he's also not doing it. When we are ready, I think it is everybody being convinced in their own smallest space that this is. Okay, Randy posted something about signing electoral petition wanted. I copied and sent to a particular group. Somebody came under the comment section and said, all the ones where we don't sign since waiting come out of them. Now, this is the mentality of some persons. But once we are ready as a people, I don't think that these people can stop it. Once we are ready. If all there was a certain day we woke up and Nathaniel Biasi posted something about everybody should repost Jesus on their status, and everywhere on social media, Jesus was all over the place. Do I have a problem with that? No. But the number of persons we have on this space, even if it's just to retweet everything that Randy has posted in regards to this electoral reform, you've done something from your own small space. Someone is asking how he can do his beat from Lagos. That is what all of us should be asking. I mean, Zamfara, how can I help? How can I come in? What do I do to support? It might not necessarily be financial. If you can do figures, fine. If you have somebody you need to call, Baba, how far this thing they sub there, put body. That is the only way out. One comedian said, if to say we die alive, if we don't die for Nigeria, what it means is that we are all gone. The way these people are treating us, there's no future for anybody in Nigeria if it continues like this. So, my humble submission, the least that we can do, is it to repost, retweet, send money, create awareness, have the conversation? P2B will never suffer. In fact, P2B, if he decides to take 50 people from this platform and change their life for good, be it in private sector, be it in business, be it in politics, he has what it takes to do that. People are still asking him, you need to assure me that you protect my vote before I will come out and vote for you. Are you doing him a favor? You're also not doing Randy Peters a favor. He's actually putting his all. If you see the energy when he's saying some of this, you know that this person is passionate. And the least you can do is support him. I'm not in Abuja too. He said we need to get to that point where if by 2027 we do what we want to do or what we can do, and we are convinced that this election that we won it, P2B cannot even tell us not to go and protest, that he's going to court. At that point, it's not a P2B fight. It is our fight. It is my fight. I don't need Randy Peters to join me in pro. Any day I am convinced, say he don't do me, I go hit the streets. If we all have this mentality, it will be easy for us to have one voice. We will be united, have a common purpose. At this point, Randy is saying, join me, let us go and request for electoral reform. All the questions on this platform should not just be directed to Randy. It should be our question. How do we get this better? How can we do this? How do we join this? Because we believe it's the right thing. So my humble submission, all of us will be here now. the least anybody can do that will not cost you money, at least go to his page, retweet what he has done. At least one extra person will see it from your own platform. If you need to post it on your own WhatsApp status, you've done something. If you need to call your brother, your friend that is in Abuja, Baba, how far? What are you doing tomorrow? Baba Poo Bodio, they touch everybody. That's the least anybody can do before we start talking of sending him money, print your own t-shirt for whatever it is. Please, thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah, thank you so very much, sir. Wonderful submission. Like I said, all of us, we know even need flights. Now, boss, don't worry, boss could take us there safely. That one is sure. Please, we've seen a whole lot of people. Mr. Kayode, I'll come to you. Oh, please, I'll come to you. You know, so they say he that are looking for equity must come with, I think, equity hands. So we are looking for this new Nigeria. We have to follow the process. Ejo, I don't want job line. um, Blinks. After Blinks, we have the Nigerian we want. Please, let's be time conscious. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everybody. It's a privilege to actually be on this space, and I'm really happy hearing from Randy in person. You're very
Thank you. I
eloquent.
was thinking you were a man before, but well done.
No, no, no. It's very good to see how passionate he is, like the way you fight for Nigeria, and it's pleasing, I must say. Like you're one of the people I look up to. Like when I'm on Twitter, I'm looking for what to retweet or even post. Your posts are one of the things I actually look up to get on this space. So quick one. I want to ask here. People that are not on social media that don't use phones, how do we now get to them? Because these are the grassroots people. How do we get to them? Because most of the things we post and retweet are things that majority of us that have access to these things can actually work with. Do you get? We are able to see what you do because we are um on this internet. What about people that don't have access to this internet? How do we now get through to them? That's first of all. And I'm currently in Benin. Is there a way I can lend out my voice? I think I sent a message to Maurice. I sent a message to one other person like that. I don't know. I could not get access to P2B grassroots mobilization because I don't know. I think it says something like I'm not verified, so I can't message you or something like that. So if there's a way I can actually help out, I'll be very honored to. Thank you very much.
Okay, Blinks, thank you very much. It's also an absolute pleasure hearing from you, and thank you for all you do. Talking about persons who are in the grassroots, you see this entire electoral reform thing and governance. I personally wish that if more people buy into it, let people even lead the cause so that I will not. If we are going tomorrow, even to National Assembly, if there are other people who can even speak to them, so that my own wish is that Nigerians understand it enough for us to begin to take action. It is not a matter of we can leverage on the structures that are on ground. We know how uh, Labour Party people, obedience been do mama papa pikin in the build up to the 2023 elections. There is this guy even on Twitter that did that he's doing this fix INEC something campaign. His own is for whether a year or so. He has been going around. He goes to different suburbs. We just chatted now, and he gave me his phone number. He said he will be in Lagos for another event. So he goes around to communities talking about them. It is part of what even a movement like the obedient movement or any other a political movement, it must not come out of with the name of this. It can be sponsored with another, kind of structure, but just get it because everywhere in Nigeria there are supporters or believers in a particular cause. We can leverage on that. People can, so that the language of communication is what is understood by the locals there. It will go a long way, but we just need to come up with that kind of system. So it will really help in taking down the message to everybody that needs it. And then again, you talked about doing something from Benin. Look, just retweeting and posting, you don't know how far using a hashtag or commenting on something does. That one thing you do that it may not have so much effect, it is because you are standing alone or there are few people doing it. Imagine if that tweet you made, 10,000 people made it. That pulls what you have just retweeted to be trending almost on either top one or top three of the search bar. That is how momentum is being built. So do not just get discouraged. The little that all of us are doing, merely being on this space, we are here, we have been here for about 2 hours. It shows that people are interested in something. It is a sacrifice. If Nigerian leaders were this sacrificial in talking about things that benefit Nigerians, the country will move forward. What we have been talking here is not sharing money. We have not been talking about collecting allocation. We are not talking about collecting money that was supposed to be meant to fix a refinery that has been going into coma every 3 months in Port Harcourt. But we have been here for more than 2 hours. So what you are already doing is enough. We just need to continue to amplify it. And I believe that gradually it will make sense. It will all make sense because nobody can, a tree, as they say, does not make a forest. But little drops of water, it will definitely ignite the spark. So as you are in Benin, as you are online, you are doing your own part, and God bless you.
Thank you so very much, Randy. Randy, I never won't give you name. Don't worry, I will give you name before we finish this first. But guys, these spaces with Randy will be happening. I mean, after what will happen tomorrow, we will still have him, and on things, probably the upcoming updates, he will be here to also engage with people and direction to follow. No, be everybody get direction. Me, I no get, so I have to be very clear. I don't know how to go about petition of the thing, so I no get. I have to follow Randy. That is the truth. So Randy lead the way. I follow. Right? He has some team he's working with, but we follow them. So that's why I said I no get direction for electoral reform, but I can be adding my voice. So that's why I said Randy will be here to be engaging and telling us what to do. I think on the side of grassroots, by the time they say after tomorrow testing of Mike and the dates they will give to National Assembly elapses, and there will be need to get numbers of people. We need to go to grassroots and tell people, look, this is why we are. We must be in Abuja. And I know a lot of people at the grassroots knows about this, honestly. But then let me move to the Nigerian we want, please. 1 minute or 2 minutes, please. Please, Ejo, Biko. The Nigerian we want, are you here? Okay, it's not here. Mr. Kayode, good evening, sir. Please, let's have you, sir.
Good evening, my brother. I greet everyone. Oh, Peter B. Grassroots, I greet you, my brother. Garandi, I salute you. Mm. Again, thank you for all you do. I so much love your courage. I love your tenacity. I love your energy. I love everything about you. Like when you aim at something, you do everything to just make it happen. God bless you. Mm. So again, you have my own full support, and you know that you have my full support. Mm. But this is my question to you. Do you think that what failed us at the last election is in quotes the electoral law? Or yeah, do you think it's the electoral law, like that new reform we got that led us into that election? Do you think that was what failed us? Or it was in quotes the Nigeria, like the corruption in the Nigerian system that failed us? Which of the two do you think failed us at the last election, Randy?
Okay, would that be all, sir?
Oh, okay. Let me just ask the last one. So if you answer what failed us, okay. So now once we get this electoral reform that we are yearning for, like once we get it, do we have any plan of testing this reform at the court of law for interpretation before we rely on it going into the 2027 election? Reason why I asked that question, you know, and we should all know now. Because if you don't test it at the court of law, nobody can say definitely that this is the meaning. If they say you must vote and transmit electronically, you can get it. It's only the court that has the power to interpret that to be what it means in quote in Nigeria. Because if you remember, the same last election, there are some things that were written in plain black and white. They told us and FCT does not mean and. You get it? So there are some things that you will say that this is it, pure black and white. But the interpretation the judiciary will give to it, you get it, will be something else. Reason why I'm saying this, Randy, is not because I want us to get the reform, but I just don't want us to go with our naive mentality, open with our elitic mentality. Like, we have this tushness, well-educated mentality of going into an election with this crop of people that are holding on to power and think that we can defeat them with that. So I just want us to show that as we are getting it, we are not locking up our mind to believe that we have one law or we have one reform, or we think things will just go smoothly because we've gotten them to pass a law that says, oh, this must be done or that must be done. Once they do the contrary, are we not going to end back in square one? So that does not stop us from getting it. That does not stop us from at least pushing these people to even do what is right. But as we are campaigning that, so that we also have at the back of our mind that we'll start that campaign that this election 2027, no, this election 2027, we will play the way they play. It's not like we want, no, 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 no. Any hand they play, we to play the same hand. That is how to deal with this crop of people that have clinged onto power. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kolade. I think we even spoke at a previous space. I hope it's the same. But I hope I'm not mistaking someone. But thank you very much, sir. Your question is and I completely understand your position. Because in fact, from your second question, from the first question, I could figure out where you were going to, and when you now came with the second part, I completely concord. Is to the fact that good laws are not self-implementing. Part of the brazen criminality that happened in 2023 happened with the judiciary. But the truth of the matter is, as I continue to say, that judicial arm of government are there based on the instructions of the executive arm of government. If we decide to go and have a protest today to change the judiciary, we will be only telling Tinubu, reappoint another person, send it to Akpabio to confirm, and they go and fill up that bench. So the question of what happened, was it the system or the judiciary? It was a combination of the two. There were malpractices with the electoral umpire, and then there was a judiciary that was standing by to adopt and seal on whatever were those irregularities that came from there. So that is why the approach has been, even if we will not have a means of testing the new electoral act before the 2027 elections, because unfortunately we have spent so much time after 2023 that we are getting closer to the next election. We only have off-season state elections, I think in Anambra and so on, that will hold before 2027. And that cannot even show the national spreadsheet for the 20 if any new act is passed. What will be the option? Because we do not have a way of testing it, would we not do it? So it will now be okay for us to go with your submission in the sense that we would plug the loopholes to whatever that was used, because it was clear that the part of the judicial ruling was the fact that these results from the server were not binding on INEC. If we are able to close that part, and then Nigerians begin a campaign for getting the right kind of judicial administration on the judiciary, it will balance up exactly. But if we want to just fix the judiciary and leave the electoral system, it then means we are leaving the same loophole that we have already seen that was weaponized. So it will be a full multifaceted approach. While we are doing this, as you said rightly, while they are pursuing the Electoral Act, closing any loopholes, Nigerians must not forget that there is a judiciary there that is seated with technicalities. Those technicalities is what you will plug and then begin the campaign, because the same pressure that should be put on the National Assembly must be extended to the judicial arm of government if we want to get any meaningful result from them. But we must not give them the opportunities for using loopholes and technicalities. And in the event that they do, the Nigerian people must also show that they are ready to transform their judiciary by the same mass action that we will take. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Randy. And I believe Mr. Kayode is very okay with the answer. So quickly, we go to um, calculus.
All right.
Calculus,
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Good evening. Yeah. First of
please, two
all,
minutes. 2 minutes, please. Thank
yeah,
you.
sure. I won't exceed that. I'm gonna make it brief. First of all, Randy Peter, like you doing an amazing job, honestly, because part of what actually made me even participate in politics, if not just because of the 2023 election, and I noticed that yes, Peter Obi was willing to contest. I don't think I'm going to even participate in politics because I see politics as a display of evil as long as Nigeria is concerned. So it's more like we are just here, displaying and ranting and doing whatever I want to do, and we have the people up there just playing with our lives. So sincerely speaking, I really commend you for all you've been doing, and sincerely speaking, it has really really energized me and agitated me to also do the little I can do. So for people saying that how can you take this outside Twitter for online, like I particularly I stay in Lagos, and like my place I stay in Lagos. I work at Ikeja, and but I live in Aja. So in the morning, because if I'm to board the bus from Aja to Lagos, from Aja to Ikeja, so definitely the bus has to be filled up. So in the process of you just looking, keeping quiet, playing music, or just trying to like you know to just do something to while away time, you can decide to just speak about this, not just about the reform, just generally about this Nigeria, because people want to hear about it. Because I know a lot of people, even at times when I go in, when I enter bus, especially the old people these days, they talk about, because these are the major people, these are our mothers and fathers that are even the major cause of the problem we are facing right now. These people are already fed up and they don't see anything good about this present government. So if we are in the bus and we talk about this, it must not always be that it must be a pastor or a preacher or a man of God that will be talking in the bus. No, it mustn't be that someone that wants to speak the gospel. It mustn't be someone that wants to talk about Islam or something that must only speak in the bus. You can come up. We are the one facing all these things. Religion is part of the problem we are facing in this country. But if someone is coming up and saying that yes, give your life to Christ, go to church or go to mosques on Friday and everything, people will want to contribute. People want to say amen in the bus. People want to say Allah Akbar. But these are problems that is facing us, and we should be able to voice out. We should be able to speak up. And if we don't speak up now, it will, like, time is going. These people are having their plans. If you see, the only people talking about this, they are only obedient people talking about this electoral reform. APC are not saying about anything about electoral reform. Even some of the opposition people are not talking about it. And why I don't even want to be against, I'm not, because I personally, I don't speak against any opposition. I don't want to speak against El-Rufai or Atiku. I know they are doing their best, and their supporters are also doing what they can do. So whether maybe they are together with APC is none of my business. But what I'm just trying to say is that as long as these people are saying that they are part of the opposition, and yes, there's a coalition going on. So let's say how it's going to go. Because definitely, if genuinely El-Rufai is part of the opposition, definitely, because he actually knows what they actually did. He knew, he is aware of what they did in 2023. So definitely, the electoral reform is still something. Is this something that they will still bring up? Whether earlier, whether either now or later, they will still bring it up. But what I'm just trying to say, as we the citizens, as we the Nigerians, the only thing I feel that we should still do now, we should sensitize people. And I feel the best way is when we are going in the bus, we can talk about this even anywhere, even you're in the midst of people, because personally at my workplace, people already know me. I'm a co-obedient, and they even now say they see me as if I'm this kind of person. I'm anti-Tinubu, I'm anti-APC. Yes, I am, because I'm not happy with what is going on right now, and this is the right time for us to speak up. For me, what I just want to say about my question for you is just that if okay, for the electoral reform now, what, because if I'm to say this now, I know 2023, if they should say, okay, did any electoral reform happen? Yes, electoral reform happened because they promised us electoral transmission, the electoral transmission, but it was all lie. Now, what are we putting forward for them that, okay, these are the reforms? Like, at least we should still be seeing the list of, okay, these are the things I want them to reform. Like, these are the, like, there should be an item of, okay, these are the things that, okay, I want the INEC, like, I want a reform on. And we should know that, okay, this is what we are working on. So that it won't just be as if when we are just talking about reforms, and we'll be like, what is that thing? Because at least let people have an idea of, okay, this is what, okay, we are agitating for a reform over. You understand what I'm saying? So that is, I just want to know, like, if you can just highlight all those things. Because electoral reform. Yes, electoral reform happened the other time, but it's happened that they are trying to make us understand that we don't understand English. Why will I be having a controversial statement about and telling me and maybe and is no more a conjunction, and is another statement. It's just something else entirely. So I just want to know, okay, yes, we are going for a reform. What is the whole reform about? What are the things we are reforming? Like, we should have a list of what the reform is all about. That is it.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, sir. So quickly to Ona Onalu Onalu Peter, please. Onalu Peter, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. It's nice to be here with you guys.
Please, two
I
minutes. So.
am okay. I am super proud to be here with you guys. Unfortunately, every time we're discussing issues like this, my people here in Abuja hardly on any space discussing. Mostly are people from other states like Lagos and outside Nigeria. But let me go straight to the point. About the reforms. The reforms are very, very, very important. Um, the last election, I was an agent of Peter Obi in Abuja, and I remember the guidelines INEC gave, and they said there was going to be live transmission of results. I was at my polling unit from 6 a.m. till 8 p.m. I was there for that long because when we finished collating, when we finished counting the vote and everything, when it was time to upload this result, it became impossible. And at the end of the day, when we went to a collation center, I told them that they said the server is offline, but we cannot upload this result. They said it is just a guideline that they can actually do it with the paperwork and give us a copy, of which they did. And at the end of the day, our vote did not count. So what am I saying? The reforms are very, very important because this time around is going to be a law, not just a guideline. A law that states that the result must be posted on real time and everybody can have access to it, so that we are seeing it, and then when they are bringing it to the correction center in Abuja, we can now confirm what we've seen online and what we are seeing when what the professors are bringing on paper. So I think the reform is excellent. It is what I have been crying about all day, because I have even told my friends that I don't think I will participate in the next election if this reform doesn't happen. That is one. But then, like everybody has been saying, we have a very biased National Assembly, and they need to be pushed a little. So if we don't talk about this reform to the grassroots, so that everybody will become involved in what the reform should be like, they will go and do what they feel like doing and what will favor them. So I think everybody needs to take this talk to the grassroots and educate people that don't know, and tell them that everybody should push about. It is not about the coalition. Everybody is talking about coalition, Atiku, Obi, Peter, everybody coming together. No, the problem is the electoral reform, if we don't do it and let INEC, yes, somebody talk about the judiciary. If we had seen the live transmission of results and we saw Obi winning, there was no way the judiciary can come and say Obi did not win. But because the INEC declared Tinubu as the winner of the election, and then we went to court, and because in the court there's no evidence. When they bring technicalities, it's impossible. Like someone will say, in Nigeria, anyhow, just win the election, and that is all. Anyhow, you win the election, what matters is let them declare you as the winner. That is what we are trying to avoid. So I am pro the electoral reform. Thank you very much. I yield my mic.
Okay, thank you so much. Quickly, thank you so much, sir. Wonderful submission. Please, let's move to Ohams so that we move to other person. Mr. Ohams, good evening. My chief of staff.
Good evening, everyone. Nice to be here. Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Very loud and clear, chief.
Okay, Randy, thanks for all you're doing, and everyone that is pushing. It's a difficult job to rescue Nigeria, and everybody has to stay on course. So my contribution will be, in as much as I have a lot of sentiments with Kolade, right? But I'll try to be as um, how will I put it now, as positive as possible towards this goal. So I would like to start from the last space we held with um, Ireti Kingibe, Senator Ireti Kingibe, right? So I would like to ask a few questions. Has she gotten back to us? That's the first question. Secondly, she mentioned that there's a committee working on these same reforms, and Samson Itodo of um what is the organization again? Um
Yaga.
what is this organization? Yaga, right? Yaga is also working on this thing. And I know that um having concerted efforts is always more effective than people working in silos. So I would like to suggest, is there a way that whatever it is you are doing, you can work with Samson Itodo? Samson Itodo knows the environment. He's someone that we trust to an extent that his motives are sincere. If he's also on this project, I think it will make more sense that we are working together with him, that we get him involved in what we are doing, and that we are pushing together as one unit instead of working in silos. That you do what you're doing. Samson is doing what nobody knows what Samson is doing. Samson doesn't know what you're doing. Everybody is just working in silos. I don't think it's a good way to work, especially in a country like Nigeria. If you are working towards one purpose, we should be able to come together and put our resources together so that if you're on this space and Samson is also on this space because there's a united or you guys are making concerted efforts together, then at least we can hear from Samson and also hear from you. Samson is quite very experienced in this particular thing. He has done these things. He has pushed for these things for several years. So he would give us a very realistic perspective as to what we are saying while we are bringing the energy as we have been debating, right? The energy is also very important. However, Nigeria is a very funny country. It's such that, and I don't know why we are finding it very difficult to realize at this point that pushing things at the center is always very difficult. And I think the obedient movement or generally Nigerians will have to come to that realization that putting pressure on the center is very, very difficult for various reasons that I can begin to tell us a full story about here, right? So why not we begin to, if this is really important to us, and like the last week I said something about having grassroots. I'm saying that if this is really important to us, and Senator Ireti mentioned something like this, let us begin to have people pushing these things at the various grassroots, and we are holding all our National Assemblies members accountable in all the 36 states. And secondly, a lot of us like to see Nigeria like it's a southern thing. Nigeria is not a southern thing. In short, if we depend on only the southern senators, we will not pass this bill. So are we making concerted efforts to get the northern people on board in this particular movement or this particular objective we are trying to push? What are the moves we are making to get the northerners on board? And it's not just getting them on board, or getting them to the point, to a platform where there's an agreement that they will reach out to their own senators. So you're talking about every single person from every single senatorial district. You have people there calling on their senators. If you are going to go and do protests in Abuja, it's not just about doing in Abuja. In all the different national assemblies in Nigeria, let that protest hold on the same day. That is how you can actually um, succeed in putting pressure on the Nigerian institution. If you say you want to go and stay in National Assembly, I wouldn't necessarily want to discourage that, but I can assure you that it doesn't matter how long you stay there, they will find a way to defy whatever you are trying to do. Because the center is very powerful. And I don't want to spend a lot of time analyzing that. So it doesn't sound like I'm trying to discourage people. I'm trying to be positive here, right? So what I'm saying is, if we want to be serious with this thing and we actually want to get success, we have to begin to look at building a structure that can make this work, in the sense that we are looking at decentralizing this effort while keeping pressure on the center, right? I'm not against that, but let us find a way to decentralize this effort such that everybody is feeling the pressure across board, across all states, right? There's a news ongoing now. A policeman was, the police unjustly killed somebody, detained him and killed him. The Northerners have gone to riot. I heard they've killed the DPO. You need these people. See, there's a reason why the policemen don't mess up in the North. There's a reason why it is that way. So we can't just come as Southerners. If you check this thing now, most of us here are Southerners, and we are trying to push something that will affect everybody. Until we begin to see Nigeria as a holistic state with different characteristics in different regions, we will just have our own echo chambers, and we will really struggle to get anything to work. We need to begin to put the right pressure on every subset of the country, right? If we need to get things to work for the whole country. If it's a southern project, we can keep pushing and coming to spaces and talking, and at the end of the day, we will find out how successful we are going to be. But if we are really serious about this stuff, I think the way to go about it is decentralized effort, sustained effort on the center, decentralize it, and have people physically, right, in different grassroots in the north and south of the country, putting pressure on their own senators. And there are ways to go about these things. We have people in the obedient movement all across the country, even in the north, right? We need to get these people on board and get them on board with this particular stuff. Most of them have people that follow them, right? Let us do this problem. We have Malam Jaber, we have this Zita guy. Get all these people on board. Let us begin to pressure all their various senators and House of Reps. If you are going to National Assembly to hold a protest, let them go to their state assemblies and also hold that protest. That's the way I think we can actually put this pressure if we want to put pressure. That's how I think we can put pressure. If you say it's only National Assembly you want to put pressure on, they'll go and leave. You know, past that one. 30 days, you go past, they'll come back. Nobody will die. So I'm saying, and I'm just being as simple as plain as I can be, while I'm trying to give you as the most objective advice I can give you, and remain positive that what we are doing can succeed. I don't like to go into something that I'm looking at it and I'm saying, can this thing succeed or not? No, I want to satisfy my conscience that this thing we are putting effort to will succeed. Then I say, okay, fine, we've done our best to make it succeed. We're not just making a blatant attempt, no, but we are doing our best to ensure that what we are doing will succeed. Then yes, then we are being intentional about what we are doing. Then I'm excited about it. But if you are just doing it out of passion and we are not being strategic about it, then a lot of times I'm not motivated. I just want to watch and see what's going to happen. But if I see that yes, we are actually making the right strategy, we are getting the right strategies, ensuring that we are intentional about every move we are making, then yes, I'm excited about it. Because if it's just gradual, let's just push, we can push, but at the end we'll find out if just pushing and just being aggressive gets things done in Nigeria. From experience, I don't think so. So I'm just giving my own advice as a concerned Nigerian, that in as much as we are passionate about this thing, that there are ways to go about it, and we should begin to look into those ways to go about it, and not just exhaust our emotions and passion on aggressiveness. And at the end of the day, we are not sure if we are hitting the right chords. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Ohams. Mr. Randy,
Mm,
back to you, sir.
okay, thank you very much. I really do not know where some of the last comments stand. if you are in wherever state you are from, I don't know, since you are also pushing for us to begin from the grassroots, I don't know if you have been able to reach out to your own senator or your own lawmaker in your own state or where you are, because the whole idea about this thing is that it is not a one person thing, and everything will be built on from conversations like this. And I am in touch with people have reached out from the north, people have reached out. So I do not think that it is a southern conversation. In fact, there are certain senatorial districts in the north today who have a senator that did not contest for primaries. It was given to them by the judiciary. And so they not also know what it means to have electoral malfunction or malpractice. So if we are agreeing that everybody should, become foot soldiers from wherever we are, I think it also begins from conversations like this. And everybody is going to, be able to mobilize. But let me be honest with you, because you also began with the question from if Senator Ereti has gotten back to us. The truth of the matter is that Nigerian politicians are politicians. Senator Ereti is one person who represents the FCT. She's in the minority in the sense that she's even in the Labour Party. She's one of only 4 women. But fortunately, she's in the Committee on Electoral Reform. And that was why I called her attention. And she promised to take the petition that is already on ground to the Senate committee level and also at the House. And then you also mentioned Mr. Itodo, who works with Yaga. In fact, he was invited to be at our conference, but the one-day conference we held before taking that petition, but he couldn't attend, and he reached out. The group with which I went to drop the petition is called Nigerian Electoral Reform Coalition. I didn't know it before. I have been pushing for electoral reform as Peter, my name, Peter for Nigeria. I always say Peter for Nigeria, justice for Nigeria. But when I saw the coalition and I saw that it was bringing people together, I decided to go there because we realized that coming together gives us opportunity for us to do more. And that was why the coalition reached out. Senator Shehu Sani was a guest. He was there. Dr. Tanko Yunusa. We invited PDP. We invited Dr. Tanko Yunusa is from Obedient Movement. Barrister Femi Falana was there. The Professor Igbine from the US. So it was a broad coalition. So efforts are being made to bring people together, but you cannot twist everybody to come together to do what they need to do. Those who are ready to do what can be done will take this step. And when Senator Ereti says that you should also reach out to people who, your senators, how many Nigerians see their lawmakers in their constituencies? How many of them even go home? How many of them sit down in their constituency offices at home, the federal lawmakers? A lot of times, the only place you are going to see them is in this National Assembly in Abuja. So while we are talking about, having the conversation about putting pressure at the center and decentralizing, it will begin by creating awareness. The more people know about it, and then when you begin, which we had already talked about, building structures to communicate in the local languages, and then by the time people are also holding protests here in the National Assembly, parallel or these simultaneous protests are also holding in the state houses of assembly. But it all begins from conversations like this, and the structures that are available will be leveraged on. Where there are no structures will be put in place, so everybody will begin to do their part. But in the meantime, the bill must first come out from the National Assembly before it is now taken to the state houses of assembly. So whether Mr. Itodo is there and then the Senator Ereti is there and they are talking amongst themselves and INEC, Nigerians must make the noise and put the pressure to know that there are people watching you. If not, left to them, they'll just do the quiet thing that is going on. At the end, they drag it and nothing positive comes out of it. So I agree that we are going to mobilize ourselves. We should amplify our voices. Where structures need to be built, we build the structures and do it. But I think that conversations like this help a lot, and we are still on the right path. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Randy. Oga Ohams, I think your hand is still up. I don't know if you have any. Hello, Mr. Ohams.
Yeah, okay. Thanks. So thanks, Randy, for the let's say response actually. However, what I had in mind was, and I'll give an example, right? And I would like to use this model. If you know the Take Back Nigeria model, it was a very effective model. If people can hate Jack for anything, right? But when it comes to being able to mobilize, Jack is a mobilizer. He knew he created a model, right, that worked, that was able to go across Nigeria. So if we are waiting for people to volunteer to say, oh, I want to, I will, oh, Randy, where are you? I'm going to work here for you. I don't think you get people. If you go about saying we are looking for people in so and so place to do so and so stuff, who can we get in this local government? We are looking for someone in this local government, and those are the conversations we are having. They are looking for someone in this local government. You set up a Telegram group or something, and we are asking for, you create different groups for people in different local governments. You will see people that will step up and become and register and head those local governments for you. But if you say, oh, Nigerians, and we say that a lot, Nigerians should step up, Nigerians should see, everybody's goat is nobody's goat. Somebody will carry this matter on his head and people will follow. If we are waiting for people to just volunteer and say, oh, we will come up and do this thing, nobody will come up and do it. And that is the simple truth. And that is just how life works. It's not because Nigerians are bad people, it's because that is just how life works. So when I hear all these things about people saying, this person, Nigeria is everybody's country, this person is doing his best, those are very, very, as in, I don't know how to call it. They are just people speaking out of inexperience. Everything like rises and falls on leadership, whether we like it or not. So people will say, "Oh, you are waiting for people to come and save you. You are waiting for people to come. And you people should stand up and do." There's nothing like that. People take the bull by the horn and take up responsibility, and then people will follow. That is how life works. So what I'm simply saying is, if you begin to create groups like Telegram groups, WhatsApp groups, right, and begin to put out the links and say, oh, if you're interested in joining us, join. You'll find people joining those groups. Conversations will begin to happen in those groups, and then people will begin to take leadership by themselves and begin to you will now get that reach that grassroots you're looking for. You get the you can get the contacts of all these senators, share it to them. You can have someone that works that helps you research, does all those research, and then brings the information out. If you say, oh, you know your own senator, go and call him. You know your house of rep, go and call him. Nobody will call anybody. But if that number is out there, people will call. And that's how these things work. As much as people expect people to be proactive and get these things done themselves, it will never work that way. People would strategize, get this thing out, and then give people directions on how to go. And then you will find people going and getting things done. So if we are saying we are reaching out to these people, just for people to just volunteer on their own, it will be difficult to get people to volunteer. But if we proactively get um, structures for them to fit into, you'll find people volunteering and fitting into them. That's all I was trying to say. So I want to see I want to see structures being put in place so that people can volunteer. Not everybody will volunteer, but at least you begin to find various local governments. Let me use
Okay.
there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief. Thank you so much, sir. So, Mr. Kayode, see you are up.
Okay. Yes, I just remember something. My brother Randy, are you aware that the legislators they've been working on in quotes electoral reform? Are you aware of that? I'm saying that for you to also just know so that you don't, once you allow them too much, they'll just tell you that they are working on it. So I think you should prepare yourself so that you can block that loophole. They've been working on it, but the difference is what they are working on is what will favor them, like in quotes, single day election, governorship, and president, and all election will be held one same day, so that in quotes they can leverage on the governor's resources to do what, to rig and do whatever. You get it. Things that will favor them is what they are working on. So Randy, I just want to it's just a piece of advice because I have to quickly go and look again at okay, where at what is the status of things as we speak. And I discovered that they've been working, and you also said it, Senator, it is part of the committee on electoral reform. So if they are already working on the reform and you are asking them to reform, it's the same word, reform. You don't have any case. They're going to just tell you, well, it's work in progress. And like that, you go and sleep. Randy, my brother, I think it is time you list out what you stand for. That reform is the bogus word. Within those committees, you see all these people lobbying and doing whatever. There are people who the motive differ. It is you. You know yourself. At least some of us know you. Some of us can say, no, Randy, oh, the guy, you get it, as whatever. But I can't vouch for everybody saying calling for one reform or the other because people are calling for what will suit them. So I would appreciate if you can spell it out, even if it's just three things that you are asking for that will resonate with the people. Like we know, Randy is saying that henceforth, election from polling units with the coordinate, GPS coordinate of where it is transferred must be transferred in code to the server. We know that is a clear cut. Using that word, electoral reform, electoral, is just a bogus big word. And using that, they will nail you to say we are already doing reform, and they will guarantee you that in 2025 they will pass an electoral reform. They will pass an electoral law that would that would oversee that of the 2022. So once they tell you that they've knocked out everything you've been working on. So please, Randy, state out your own demand. What you want, go, 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 go. It may not be much, it may be just be three things. So we can amplify and we can put those three things on our head to say these three things must be inside that reform that you people are doing. If not, they will tell you that they've reformed it, and you all the list that you will see there, you won't see the ones that we are yearning for. You won't see the ones that really, really affect in quote election, whatever. You will just be seeing things like what INEC is asking for, like electoral judicial commission. What is our own business with judicial commission? You'll be seeing things like you. So we won't see the things that we really want. So Randy, this is just a piece of advice. If you can do that, so that we know what we are asking for specifically, so that you don't join them in hiding under that big umbrella of in quotes electoral reform. And at the end of the day, they will tell you we're already doing electoral reform, and you lose everything you've been working for to these people. And at the end of the day, they will give you a reform that will be specific of the things you really want to see happen will not be inside. But you can't for them because they already gave you a reform. Thank you.
Then, okay, I think maybe we are just missing ourselves in the conversation, actually. The petition that we even took to the National Assembly is online. I have shared it on my page and on all social platforms. And I have repeated and repeated. In fact, our petition has just two demands: making the process of if the shirts that will even distribute tomorrow carry electoral reform, fix INEC, no transmission, no election. Transmission of results from the polling unit to a central server should be mandatory for INEC electronically. I don't know how else we have overemphasized. There is a petition from Uncle Dele Farotimi. That one has three agendas: independent candidacy, the same electronic transmission of results, and I think I can't remember the third one now. As is electronic transmission of result being mandatory, and also the appointment of the INEC chairman, Dr. Tanko Yunusa. They have their own that is 10 points. The question is, it is not even, in fact, it will even be a good thing if Nigerians can put so much pressure that when we get to the point of National Assembly and they decide to set up a steering committee, amongst us here, if there are people who know more and better about elections, to be a part of it while we continue to do the mobilization and talking, so that it doesn't even seem like it is a Randy Peter thing, or it is Peter. I do not even need to be there. My own duty is to continue to ensure that this rings a bell in the ears of Nigeria, whether we call it transmission of result or whether we call it is under electoral reform. And that is what it will be called by the National Assembly. So that, whether we want to call it one man, one vote, let my vote count, it can be anything. It can be make INEC transmit results in due time, real-time result. It is all under electoral reform. The Senate or National Assembly will only do it in mischief if there is no pressure outside from them. And that is why we are calling that it is our collective duty to ensure we maintain that pressure on them. Because even the Senator Ireti, this thing we are talking about, and the one that they have been doing in the committee level, for you to know the mischief of politicians, what is the amendment they want to do that they have not done since 2023? Why has it dragged into 2 years. So you will definitely see, and even from since we started this, I told you that I was in the National Assembly. We were there this evening to drop the letter to inform the clerk. And you will know that politicians know exactly what is meant by this electoral reform. They have the Justice Uwais panel report. They have all that they take. The missing link is that Nigerians are not talking and hitting it as much as they can. It is the same thing Senator Reti said. It is the same thing Senator Abdul Ningi said. So what we are just saying is that continue, sensitization and hammering on it. The points that we need to pass are there. If we need it to be amplified in our tweets, maybe saying that electronic transmission of results will be mandatory, it's okay. We can make it a hashtag and make it to continue to trend. But the points that we highlighted are very clear, and that is what we have continued to maintain. The important thing is, are Nigerians ready to continue to talk about it so much so that the authorities know that you know what you want, you are clear-headed about it, and you are doing everything to ensure that it is gotten. They cannot go and pass a law that is behind you unless we decide to sleep on it. So we are the ones who will determine. Thank you very much. Please, host, how much longer will we be on this space? It's 11 p.m. already, sir.
Yeah, Peter, are you there? Let's say with okay. Peter, how
Yes,
many minutes? How many minutes more?
I texted you and our guest. I also dropped a DM to your inbox. Please kindly check. Thank you.
Okay, I've seen it. I've seen mine. Okay. 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 So I've seen mine. Thank you. So let's just quickly exhaust the people up here. Because like we all know when we started the space, in fact, it's even there on the Jumbotron that there will be a rally tomorrow in Abuja. Please, if you're in Abuja or if you can make your way there, try to be there. Because uh, like it is written, faith without action is death. Ideas without action is also death. So we need to pull out the action physically. But quickly, let me go to the Nigerian that has been here for a long time. Then Nigeria Soma. Please, Ejo Biko, let's just be time conscious. One minute. If you have questions, let's just take 1 minute so we can round up everything. Thank you. The Nigerian we want, please. You have the mic. Nigerian we want is not here. Soma does. 1 minute, please.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Yeah, hello. Good evening, guys.
Yeah,
Can you hear guys?
go ahead.
Yeah, electoral reform in Nigeria is very, very critical due to our persistent challenge and that undermine our democratic process. This is something I have been expecting from Nigeria since after the 2003 election. We all see how it played out and how the APC hijacked the election. And I thank you so much, Randy Peter. You have coalition, not any other thing, because even after the coalition, the election will be rigged. So what is the point of going to rig election when you can't even trust the umpires, which is INEC?
Hey, 1 minute, please. Is it question or submission?
Submission.
Please, 2 minutes, please. Thank you. I'm looking at the time. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, my brother. I also thank you to Mr. Andy. What you are doing great. and form our own government on our own. We have so many techs here. We have so many people that is computer learned. We can form, maybe look for a platform that is easy for us to maybe form something like a WhatsApp group from federal to state, from state to local government, from local government. From there, they all of them they will have heads. So when information comes, it will reach everybody. He went very far with his own kind of issue that was happening then, because had a radio channel where he speaks and everybody hears. He went during that time. You see people with their radio. So when he enter bus, they will tune into the station. So many people was here. So if we can create a strong platform where we have our own president that will be giving information, they say, okay, all this state, local government, everybody should do this thing. You see that you will impact so many, because grassroots is actually the major problem of this Nigeria, because that grassroots, there is a lot of illiterates inside them. That's when you see some of them don't even know what's happening in this Nigeria. When you travel to the villages, engage with some persons, you see that these people are not even saying what you say. If you are even saying, like, they are very far from the Nigeria that is opportune to maybe have all this data to see what is happening that is seeing. You see, most of them there is inside the dark. So the grassroots is actually the major problem there. Everybody there, most of you, even our president safe. Funny enough, I mean, their president, I don't know. Funny enough, the phone he's using, he might not even know how to operate it very well, because most of his parents, they just use phone maybe to view WhatsApp, view status, watch TikTok, and laugh. They don't know any other thing that the phone can do, or maybe try to maybe use it to do anything that will actually help the Nigeria. So we need the grassroots. Let's create a platform where they will say, okay, everybody should say this thing, and all of us will come out and say it in one voice. Because if you're waiting for anybody to come out to maybe talk about it, people will leave you behind. Because some of us down there, you see, we are bitter about the Nigeria, but we cannot say, maybe probably it's one APC chairman that is feeding you. When you enter inside the room, you will feel bad about the country. When you come outside the next day in the morning, you talk good about the APC, because it's the person feeding you. You cannot talk bad about the government. So that's my own submission.
Thank you so much, boss. And it's very, very important that we must put all hands on deck. So quickly, the Nigerian we want, please. You back. 1 minute left, sir. Please. Just try to summarize, please.
Okay, so sorry about that. I
No
think it was my
problem, sir.
connection. So I think the 2003 general election exposed a lot of things, significant issues that we should be tackling. We are supposed to be tackling immediately after the 2023 election. The issues including operational inefficiencies, technological failure, voter suppression, and non-compliance by the INEC, by the umpire themselves, who said that they are going to transmit the elections electronically. And eventually they said, hey, we are not going to do this anymore. We are going to just collate the results and announce it like we always do. So what are the necessary things that we're supposed to going to occupy the National Assembly is one thing. Then we all need to also hold our senators and our House of Reps members from our own different constituencies. If it means publishing their numbers and calling them every day, for them to lend their voice, which I know they will be very, 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 very slow to that. Probably they will not want to do that. But then I believe that the power of Nigerians is much more greater than the power of the people in government, because we gave them the power to be there. I've always said that whenever we as Nigerians are ready, Nigeria will be good. There's this saying that I'm very, very fond of. When a man is right, his world will be right. When Nigerians are right, Nigeria will be right as a country. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much, the Nigerian we want. Quickly down back to Tobena.
Sorry, host, before going, without even
Okay.
going too far, so that it will seem like we are being proactive and we are handling issues. Somebody had talked about the contacts of House of lawmakers. If there is there anybody on the space who has access to that kind of information, you can produce. Let us distribute. So that while we are talking, there are some solutions that we can find amongst ourselves. We may be talking about structure. There may be somebody somewhere who is able to do something, maybe getting to grassroots or so. So while we are giving submissions, we can decide to implement them as we are talking, the ones that we can. So if that is possible too, we can go ahead. So we become the solution we are preaching to. Thank you.
Thank you so
Being
much, sir. That's
being able to talk to each and every one of our lawmakers is very, very important from our own different constituencies. I think that's where the grassroots comes in. Everybody in their own different constituency should be able to engage their lawmakers, both from the federal house and both from the federal house and the state house of assembly in our different states as well. Those are where we are supposed to concentrate our pressure, our pressure. Saying that we are going to occupy the National Assembly. For how long are we going to sit out there? And are we going to sit out there until we make sure that these our demands are met? Are we just going to sit out there for a day and then everybody goes home and grace will abide?
okay. Copy that, sir. I think it's something we need to start working on. Thank you. To Bernard.
All
I
right, all
think
right.
personally,
Yeah.
sorry, I will start to be a friend of my APC national member too, so I can submit my petition. Tobana, go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much, host and co-hosts and speakers and everyone listening. I'll be very direct. I want to bring our light to two things. There is the law, and then there are people that enforce the law. You see, we're concentrating too much on the law. These guys make the law, and they still need someone to enforce it. You know, the enforcers are the people I think we should pay more attention to. If we look at the last election, we don't even know the INEC officials, even from the different departments or different sections. We don't even know their names. We don't know where they stay. We don't know nothing about them. Election just comes through, they select the people, and then we don't even know these people. So either we get to know these people or we get the jobs. We have to, INEC is the biggest issue. You can do a electoral reform. Yes, that's great. I appreciate what Mr. Randy is doing. Also, the add up what Mr. K said to add up for him to like also to shed some more light on what Mr. Randy is doing. You know, I appreciate that too from Mr. K. But the truth about the matter is when we talk about grassroots, we have these people live with us. INEC members, right, from the ground bottom to the top. The top is going to be difficult. Those ones we see them on the news very rare. They have a lot of, they have a lot of entourage, so you can't really come close to their space. But the people you can come close to their spaces are the assistants, the people working lower. You know what I'm saying? They have access to these places. They know someone that knows someone that knows someone. So we need to work with data. If you understand what I'm saying, we need to get more information about from the grassroots. They will give us information because we live with someone that works in maybe the APC secretariat as a whatever. If you understand what I'm saying, or you live with someone that knows someone that works for INEC. If you understand what I'm saying, I know we are good at that. We have those connections. We know someone that works for INEC, but we feel okay, he's not an important person. No, they become important because you cannot get to their top without getting to their middle and the small. If you understand what I'm saying, there are people that still do this work. I remember I said there is a law, and then there are people that still have to enforce the law. There is hope because there's a law. People that make the law, senators, this, that. But then there are the people that have to enforce the law, policemen. If you understand what I'm saying, and you know someone that is a policeman. If you understand what I'm saying, INEC officials, when they correlate the papers together, they still have to send it to someone again. We don't even know these people. We need to start knowing them before they even call their names for 2027. We need INEC to tell us the people that are going to work in different southeast, south, southwest. You know what I'm saying? Different zones. This is what we hold in ourselves. We need to be responsible for this, to know them so that they know that we know you. Before that 2027 comes, we know you are the one that is to stand here at social time and collect these ballot boxes. So we are aware. Or if we can't do that, then we apply for the job. We volunteer for the job. So when you get, because you can't get from the top, it's difficult except you want to be violent, and which I don't advise.
But what I would say is we need to infiltrate them from the inside, from that grassroots, the gate man that opens the gate. That if you
Please,
understand where I'm
Tobena,
coming.
you can help kindly round up so we can.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, that's that. Hey, man, that's it. That's the only point I just wanted to make. Thank you so much for having me and
Okay, but
appreciate
I
that.
hope you are done. I was just notifying you to round up. I hope you're done. Okay, thank you. Um, Oba, Oba, C word.
Thank you very much. Um, Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. In this space. Randy, I want to start by thanking you for all that you do. I have just two things. Then, I want to also corroborate. There was something Colade said, but I don't think you answered part of it. But there was something I still did not get. Colade said, "What if we get there tomorrow and they say we have electoral reforms already on the table? Is a going concern that we are already tackling it. What answer do we have to give them?" Why I'm saying this is because, I remember during the NSAS, one of the excuses that Buhari gave was that you people said you wanted NSAS and I had started reforming SARS. What else do you people want? Why do you people continue? Those are one of the reasons he gave for, the attacking, the protesters. So I want you to do we have a ready-made answer to counter whatever, if the National Assembly comes and says, "Thank you very much for all that you have done. We have heard you. We also have electoral reforms and we are working on it." Because if he catches us unawares, at that point there's nothing anybody can do. We'll just have to turn back. Any other thing we are doing will be seen as flouting the law. you know that's one. Then Randy, this is to you. Thank you so much. I saw your post this morning and I was glad because in a space on Sunday I spoke about it. This peace and reconciliation committee that only comes up every 4 years. I think it has become a jamboree and a useless process. Because whatever they say, like you said, whatever they do, nobody adheres to it, and they just come up with that kangaroo occasion, and that is it. They'll come out after another 4 years. Please, I will also, in as much as you have spoken to them to tag them and all that, is there a way you can reach out to Bishop Coker or seek audience with Bishop Coker and at least Abdul Salami Abubakar? At least these are two people who in Nigeria today they are totally um not apolitical, basically. And also, one thing, the third one is one thing I advocate for is, for us to be active citizens. Everybody should, do their part, you know, from whatever you can do, your little corner, do the little you can do. Like Peter is doing, electoral reforms. Some people talked about the judiciary. Either you, since
Sorry, sir. Please, can you
they
try
brought
to
it
round
up,
up,
if you
please?
can, yeah, I'll round up now. If you can start judicial reforms, and okay, let me let that go. Then Peter, I just want you to also be open to suggestions, like somebody like Ohams, who talked about mobilization. And in all fairness to you, you have said it 50 million times here that you do not know how to mobilize. You know, Ohams, people like you who you sounded like a very good mobilizer who can do these things. Reach out to Peter on his DM. Peter, I'll source that tax to him to help after this tomorrow, we can start, looking at nationwide, sensitization. So some of these things you cannot handle everything alone. Usually people come to your DMs and ask for you to do stuff. You can outsource it. This is my phone number. Can you champion it? So that everybody works in sync. Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you so very much, sir. And God bless. I believe all points are noted. So, Sonny, please. Okay, Ohams, you wanted to say one or two, please. Maga.
Wait, I'm Prince. Sorry, I think Lechi hand has been up for a very long time. I think he should go.
Okay, Sonny,
Sorry.
Sonny, please. Hey, Joe, 1 minute, Sonny. Because we are closing the space by
I
11
mean,
o'clock.
Lechi one, like this guy I'm seeing, Lechi one.
Lech,
His hands have been up for so long.
Kelechi, good evening. Oh. Kelechi, I've spoken before. I don't know if he wants to speak. Kelechi, are you there? Maybe Kelechi don't sleep. Sonny, are you there? Sonny's not there. Ohams, please.
Okay, let me go then.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask for
I
clarification
am here.
because
I am here. Sonny is here. Please.
Okay, Sonny, go ahead. What, two
Yes,
minutes,
just
please.
2 words for us.
Okay, 2 words.
I all protocols observed and kept. I completely align my submissions to that of Tobena. He made a lot of sense. Don't have enforcement. This group is his name, the one that has a lot of cars. He stood out and he wanted to fight. The rest of the party reps from different parties all shied away. One person could have stopped declaration of that result that day. The worst that will happen is that you go to prison. They will hold you. After all, there are people in prison. We should understand that this very government do not play according to the law. They break the law. There is violence already within the space of Nigeria. So don't be scared of it. And what they are planning, they're also going to break more laws. They have tested the Nigerian masses and see the level of their resilience. Oh, you have tried mass protest. They warn you. What else are they going to do? They're asking themselves. We have to make up our mind. If we are going to constitute political suicides, we better do that. The price for freedom is not easy. Go into history and check all over the world. You have to fight this out. Check out the videos from Kenya and other places. Let us stop doing this talk show and other, trying to impress one another with our English. It wouldn't work. We'll come back next 2027. They'll still do what they'll do and chase you out with the police and INEC and other. There's nothing you can do. Please, what you have to do is go after INEC chairman. Chase him out of office. You can do that. That is Achilles' heel. You don't have to go after Buhari. Go after the Achilles' heel and chase that man out of office. He's a criminal. Why should he be in office up to now? Please, I yield.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sonny. Okay, Ohams, please. So we quickly go back to goods. Ohams, okay?
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a
Oga,
lot.
can you
So
write this
my,
one
my
minute
I
or
just
two?
have need less than 1 minute. I just need to clarify something. This whole thing we are pushing, right? Is a bill, right? From what I heard, if I follow that the election, what's it called? The court cases, right? For the election, for the presidential election, the tribunal and the rest, right? I heard that, or what the ruling was. The ruling was based on the constitution. They said the constitution allows INEC to choose whatever means they want to use to transmit the results. That's what the constitution says, right? So, and if we now say that, and in the last, the current electoral reform that we have, INEC guidelines, said that they have to use the what's it called, the IREV, whatever, for the transmission, BVAS and IREV for transmission. So if we are going to get a bill to compel INEC to go by its guidelines, I'm wondering, is that what we need, or are we supposed to get the constitution to actually stipulate that it must be done via IREV? Because if we get INEC, if we get a bill to compel INEC to do what they did, they will go back and say the constitution says they can choose. And when they get to court, they will choose because that's what the constitution says. So are we talking about amending the constitution or giving or creating a bill? Because at the end of the day, the ground norm is still the strongest law of the land. So if it's just a bill and they pass it, it's just like another INEC regulation. If it doesn't, if the constitution is not amended, that section that says INEC would choose, right? It's what is it called? The procedure it intends to use to transmit. If that is not changed to INEC would transmit via electronic transmission. I'm not sure that bill suffices. So I'm just rethinking it to be sure that we know what we are doing and just asking for clarity, just in case I'm missing something or they are all over as in overlooking something, because it's actually the constitution should be dealing with. And I don't think it's a bill. I think it's is we should be dealing with constitutional amendment. And please correct me if I'm wrong. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief for Hams. So I think okay, good. You wanted to say something, so we can
Yeah, all
get
right.
back
Thank you very much,
to
Prince Xavier. I'll
Randy.
be
Yeah.
very quick, 1 minute. So, just to say, reaffirm what the I think the previous speaker said, that of pushing Mahmoud out. I think that's a very low hanging fruit for us, because if Mahmoud is allowed to complete his tenure, that means there's no consequences for bad behavior. Whoever comes after Mahmoud is going to do worse than Mahmoud in 2027. The second point I'd like to make also is, I've heard a lot of Nigerians saying they are going to wait for. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of feedback. I don't know who's got their mic on.
Sorry about that. Please, I muted the person. Guy. Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
So I heard a lot of Nigerians saying, look, come out 2027, See, look, if you don't make INEC fear you today, they will not respect you tomorrow. So that mobilization you're waiting to mobilize in 2027, now that you have, this call to the National Assembly, now is the time for you to make INEC fear you so they can respect you tomorrow and follow their own guideline. The last point I'd like to make is, I was a bit shocked that a lot of Nigerians don't actually know that INEC has actually put out a tweet to say, look, these are the 5 amendments that they are following. I have been blocked by INEC. I created a burner account just to monitor INEC. So the 5 things they are going to do, their amendments, is one, special and diaspora voting. It's one of the proposals that's out there. That's very, very clear. Institutional reforms. They want to create electoral offense commission and political party regulation agency. The third one is legal and legislative amendments. So basically what INEC is saying, that they want clear terms on what transfer and direct transmission means. They are not even speaking about direct transmission. They just want to use just the same thing they did in the last election. That is not electronic. It is from, like, that's what they want to do. The fourth one, technological innovation. INEC wants to scrap BIVAS, and the PVCs are going to now be slips. And the fifth one is enhancing political inclusion. Women and persons of with disability, to be able to gain, go into more political offices or posts. So these are the 5 amendments. There is nothing about electronic transmission or a central coalition in which you have election observers and everybody in there. So basically that is it. So Nigerians, please, you have a stake in this fight. Let us try and read follow INEC, and the answers are there. Thank you very much, Prince Savior. Thank you very much, Randy,
Thank
and the
you so
host. I
very
yield.
much, and thank you so very much. Good. So please, Randy, before I give the mic back to the host, I would like you to. So we are rounding up here. We've been here for over, if not 4 hours. I know we've been here for over 3 hours. So, Mr. Randy, Peter, I would love you to at least probably 1 or 5 words to the listeners, and also maybe I think to really propagate this good job to get to millions of Nigerians. I believe for media there might be hashtag that you might want to suggest for people to, use in propagating this job that will better the Nigerian people more. So that you can also talk about, so that it's something we can also do our own part and as contribution to the struggle. So please just um round up and let's like your final submission for today's special.
All right. Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure and an honor sharing and interacting with our fellow comrades and compatriots. I want to say thank you for everybody, to everyone, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. I will just go with the last speaker, the last submission. I'm very glad that someone monitors INEC to the point of going through the reforms. And if anything does not tell you about the mischief of INEC and the political class, that 5 point agenda by INEC that clearly takes out electronic transmission and collation of results should tell you everything that we need to focus on as a people. A lot is wrong with Nigeria, but we are going to address it 1 point at a time. Unfortunately, Mahmoud Yakubu's tenure is almost over. But the truth of the matter is, even if Mahmoud Yakubu is taken out of office today, he will be replaced with someone worse than him if nothing is done about the electoral process. Someone talked about whether we should be looking at constitutional reform or we are looking at INEC. It is the Electoral Act that specifies or mandates INEC on how to transmit results. So it is an amendment of the Electoral Act and the INEC guidelines. There are parts of electoral reform that needs constitutional amendment. So in all of it, it will go together. Any clause that needs to be amended from the Constitution to back up the amendment on the Electoral Act will be done. Somebody also asked a clear question. If you go to the National Assembly and they say we are doing electoral reform, what will you say? Nigerians, we must know that as a people, we know what we are doing. If we go to the National Assembly and the Senate president or anybody there tells you that we are doing electoral reform, we must arm ourselves with whatever you know that you're doing and present a counter submission on what the people want and what clauses in that amendment bill we are insisting that should be there. So it's not about senators telling you that don't worry, we are doing electoral reform. It is what are you reforming and what do we as a people want. So in all of this, the submission would be that Nigerians must rise to the level of arming and educating ourselves with the requisite knowledge that we need, arming ourselves with it to fight the status quo that is against us, to be clear headed and focus on it, and to double down on it. And we must always have at the back of our mind that when we work together, there is nothing that is impossible for us to achieve. And it must be everybody's determination that 2027 is not what we should gamble with. Anything that we need to do to ensure that we begin to entrench good governance in the best interest of all of us, please let us do it. Whether it is you want to, the information I have put out there about electoral reform, hashtag, any other thing you know you want to come up with, come. I want this thing to not be and you even know that it is not even about Peter, me, Peter, or Randy at all. If you want to do other graphics, if you want, I too want to be able to say that I am supporting something that is genuine and that is genuine something. And whenever that we can, anybody we reach. Part of what, by the way, we'll do tomorrow is that by the time we meet physically, we are going to be able to form a bit more structure will be put in place, because all this while it has been online, DM online, we have never really spoken one-on-one to anybody except those of us in NACO. So I thank you very much. I am grateful. It is my honor. I feel very humbled and privileged to be a part of this discussion. And I pray that our labor will never be in vain, and we all will be alive to experience a better Nigeria that we truly deserve. I thank you, host. I thank you, co-host. I thank you, speakers, moderators, listeners, everyone. May God bless you. May God keep you. I'm Peter Aka. Good night.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Randy. You be brain. Every time once I'll give you name before you go. But Peter be grassroots. Back to you, sir, the host.
All right. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone. Thank you Nigerians. The special guest, thank you, and also every other special guest. We appreciate you. This is a project. Take it upon yourself, upon yourselves. We are very, very happy and glad that we are seeing young persons passionately speaking, passionately willing to see a change, a new Nigeria which is possible. So this is long walk to freedom. It's a very long walk to freedom, but the assurance is that we will cross the river with joy and happiness. Um, when you want to drag, when you want to take back what belongs to you, the person who benefits from it act like a mad dog. Our principal has said it before. So it's not gonna be easy. There will be threats. There will be all kinds of things. But just be rest assured that the people united can never be defeated. So thank you so much for this, for your presence in these gatherings today. We want to also inform you that we'll be bringing Mr. Peter back here to elaborate more on electoral reforms. One amazing speaker made great points saying that people need to be more educated on electoral reforms. So we will bring him back to have that conversation with us. And then the grassroots issues we are talking about, let us empower these grassroots members with knowledge about electoral reform. That's Mama Put, that woman that fries akara, that market woman, that woman that sells kunu, that woman that sells groundnut. They should be able to know what electoral reform means in their local dialects or in the average levels of English they can be able to understand. So that on election day they can be able to tell INEC this is what we know about what you are doing. You know, when some informations are being hidden, the person hiding the information from you has the tendencies of using that hidden information to, dealing with you. And that is what our political elites are doing to us. They hide those knowledges so that you will not be able to make use of them or use them, holding them to an accountable. But this time around, we are going to break that yoke. Nigerian youth, arise. It is your time to take back your country. Thank you so much. Good night, everyone. See you guys in Abuja.